Hello, 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 my darlings. Hello, my darlings. How is everyone? It's been a little while. I know it's been, I guess, about a week or two since I've done a live show. I did a video with a little tribute, a little homage, if you will, to Atheism's Unstoppable as a standalone video, but not a live stream. It's been a while, kids. How is everyone? How you doing? Are you well? How's it going? Okay, boys and girls, ladies and genitals. What are we doing? What are we doing today? Are we? There was a video that was sent to me by a friend who said, "You wanna review this, or you wanna see what you think of this, or something," and I said, sure, why not? Let's check it out and see what this is all about. And this is the video that kind of inspired, if you like, this show, this little stream of ours. So we're going to kick it off with that. I've got other things lined up which I want to cover, a couple of rants, but at the moment, we're gonna start off with this one. Because this was, I don't know, it was an epic rant, and I do like a good rant, and it's about 10 minutes long, so it is a bit long, but if we have to cut it short, we cut it short once the rant gets going. But it is a rant which I think we can, if you live in London, if you if you reside in our fair capital, you can relate to this far more. You can relate to this far more than anyone else, because we all suffer this shit. We all know that Sadiq Khan screwed up the Transport for London, borrowed $1 billion from the government, which he is now literally getting the motorists of London to pay for, because and ironically, in a time when we are told not to use public transport because of COVID-19, this piece of shit is now siphoning money, literally stealing money from people, from motorists in London, in order to pay for his mismanagement of the budget for London transport. So in a way, we're all suffering from this. Right now, I don't know if you live in London, you would know that the congestion charge went from Monday to Friday between the hours of, I think, 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. I think it was 6 a.m. until, I think it's 7 a.m. until 6:30 in the evening, from the hours of 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week, Monday to Sunday, 7 days a week, 7 a.m. till 10 or 10:30 p.m., you are liable to pay congestion charge. Basically, what he's saying is you cannot go into central London without paying money during any reasonable hours, basically. I mean, if you want to go out for a night out, if you want to go to take in a show, if you want to do anything, you have to be on the London public transport, or on a motorbike, or an Uber, or you know what I mean, some other public transport. You as an individual, unless you want to pay an extra 15 quid. And by the way, he put it up to 15 pounds as well. So the congestion charge went up to 15 pounds, which was like previously 11 pounds something. And the hours are basically making it impossible for anyone to go into central London. So that piece of shit is basically taxing. This is now a additional tax upon people who live in London. Sounds like a shakedown. It is a shakedown. It's exactly what it is. It's a shakedown. He is basically using this as a way of getting the money that he borrowed from the government because he mismanaged London Transport, or TfL, Transport for London. He mismanaged the entire business, and now he's getting the money from the motorists because he's a piece of shit. And I mean, the messed up thing is, which this guy's rant will explain, but he's not just doing that, he's doing other things, which are fining taxi drivers, fining any motorists, because they're closing off certain roads. So if you accidentally go down that road, it's meant to be now a cycle-only road, you're going to get fined. They suddenly turn roads from regular roads, from, you know, roads where drivers could go down, into cycle-only roads, which only people who really live in inner city London, who are wealthy, because wealthy people can afford to live in inner city London, can cycle to their jobs or to their various locations, because no more people, if they have to live outside of London in order to be able to afford housing, can't cycle from, you know, Kent, from Surrey, from Essex. They're not going to be able to cycle into central London, so they have to catch public transport. That's the only way. So he's forcing people to, during the time of COVID, to go on to public transport, because he will not, because he wants to shake them down for cash. He's a piece of shit. Sadiq Khan is an absolute piece of shit, unquestionable by anyone who's had any encounter with this piece of shit would know he's a piece of shit. But I will let the Cabbie man himself actually describe, because his rant is far more epic than mine. So who am I to stand in front of this wonderful gentleman? By the way, his YouTube channel is the Coconut Cabbie. He's got 1,200 plus subscribers, so he's a growing channel like mine. So it would be nice to support him as well. And this video is so far cranking up about 6,000 views, and I think it's gonna go viral, I presume, because it is quite epic. But I will allow you to judge for yourself. And here he is, Mr. Coconut Cabbie.
Attention, just to see how much of a prick.
Sorry, let me start it from.
Greetings, people. Skip this if you're not interested in stuff to do with London cab drivers, but this one is for us cab drivers, so I'd like you to pay attention just to see how much of a prick the Sadiq Khan is. Now, I'm aware that when I swear in videos, it means I'm likely to not get monetized, but for this one, I couldn't give a stuff. Khan urges taxi drivers to seek mental health help during a difficult time as road closures begin. So not only is he aware that his road closures, his batshit crazy road closures for the cab drivers that he assured would have a renaissance under him, are needing to seek mental health because of all the road closures that he is implementing under his watch in the crime epidemic that is London, with the non-ability to build the houses that he promised for, say, social housing or working class people, for the working class majority that of the country as a whole. But within London, the working class people that he is failing on a daily basis, whether it is through the youth that are killing each other or through the mental health that we're going to read into, because he is a Labour MP, or he was an MP. I don't know whether he's an MP anymore. I know he's a complete top-notch wanker, but Labour are supposed to help the working class. But this is how deceitful and lying and conniving this little midget is. So we're going to read. This is him saying this. I understand that this has been a difficult time for drivers. No, you don't understand, mate, with your massive wage that you're getting to do fuck all for people in this city. You don't understand the first thing that we have to go through because of your dickhead moves that you keep on making, you prick. He says, London Mayor in the lead up to the street space announcement. Street fucking space. I thought COVID's not meant to spread that badly on the outside. I thought we're not supposed to worry about it. We was allowed to exercise in the park and all that through the pandemic, where us black cab drivers were taking NHS workers at either half price or £10 anywhere. We weren't worried about the COVID in the park around the outside, but now that we're coming back, you're going to fuck the roads up and you're going to shaft us and our ability to earn a living, even though you've made us buy a 70 grand electric vehicle, which came off my tax, so I didn't get a grant because I did what you was asking us to do, you prick. I'm so pissed off at this wanker, it's unbelievable. The mayor's urged London black cab drivers to seek help with Transport for London should they feel any mental struggling with the extra pressures imposed on them since COVID. No, I'm not worried about COVID. I'm worried about this dickhead mayor who keeps fucking up my ability to earn a living. What the fucking nerve on this prick to tell us to go and seek help with Transport of London? What fucking help are they giving us? You fucking wank. The lower work levels and plans to deny road access to key areas has left the black cab industry frustrated. Not just the black cab industry. This is for all private hire drivers, for anyone, for people who need to get home, for people who need to get to work. He keeps fucking the roads, man. Stop closing. Who voted in this wanker? When he was walking around talking about his dad's a bus driver and calling Zach Goldsmith a racist, because he was talking about Sadiq's car defending terrorists, so he pulled out, he just wheeled out a fucking race card like every other person doing. When the fuck did he say he was going to close every road in London, pretty much? All the big roads. When did he put that in his manifesto? And another thing, and another thing when he talks, and another thing, the prick with his thumb between his two fingers. He is such a dickhead. He is such an utter dickhead. Who does he help? Who has he ever helped apart from terrorists? He's a complete top-notch dickhead, man. I swear to God, he can't walk down the street. If he was to walk, like there was a video the other day where he was in a bar, taking a piss out of Donald Trump and taking a piss out of Boris Johnson.
What I find astounding is from Donald Trump to Boris Johnson, they think it's a sign of virility or them being superhuman by not wearing a face mask. And I think it's the opposite. We've seen the leader of Brazil actually being tested positive for COVID-19. Our own Prime Minister, who was boasting about shaking hands and going about his normal business, caught the virus. And actually, I think one of the most unselfish things you can do is to wear a mask. And actually,
Boris Johnson for not wearing masks when they do their announcements on TV, whilst he himself didn't have a mask on. Now, I'm pissed off. You can find, where is this? Because it's through Taxi Point. Taxi Point are talking about how he's going to make the road closure. Look, since 2018, the black cab industry has invested nearly 200 million. Us as individuals, when you combine all the money we put in on these zero emission taxis to clean up the poor air quality. So we're doing our part. And what is he doing for us? He's doing absolutely nothing. He's pandering to this fucking lycra mob who don't put nothing in. When they're getting all their bikes and we're digging up the roads and causing congestion everywhere and putting in all these stupid, it doesn't put nothing back into the coffers. So in order to get their money back, they have to keep blocking roads and putting fines for hard-working people who are just trying to get home or trying to earn a living. He's fining people for going down roads, putting signs up, oh, you can't come down this road at this time of day. He is a conniving, sneaky little shit. And anyone who votes for that geezer is a fucking traitor to this city. You need to have a long, hard look at yourself if you can actually go and tick his name in a box. And he's doing this shit where he's going to put another bus gate on Bishopsgate, and he's implementing and there's another like 26 roads that they're going to close just for cyclists. Who asked for that? Who asked for it? Nobody asked for it. And he's got an extra year because of the COVID. They've given him an extra year because they didn't want an election. So he's making these changes, rushing through, screwing up the roads for everyone. The majority, the 96% of other road users other than cyclists. He's screwing it up within this freebie year that he's got. Rather than fixing knife crime, rather than backing the police so that they're not getting beaten up by protesters, instead, he's shafting motorists yet again. Now, we need David Curtin. Now, this isn't the best video that I can send to David Curtin because I'm pissed off and I'm swearing. But this is real. This guy is a complete dickhead and he has to be gotten out of the city. He has to. For the benefit of this city, the future of the city, the ability for working class people to get by, earn a living and get home and see their wife and kids within time without feeling like they just need to go straight to bed and then back up again early because they got to try and get in because there's so much traffic because of this wanker. He is ruining people's lives and then he's just telling us, oh, don't worry, just go and seek mental health. Can you believe that? Now, I think us black cab drivers should be able to sue this prick. We should be able to sue him because he is willingly jeopardizing people's mental health just so he can pat himself on the back and say, oh, look what I did. I put a bus gate in Bishopsgate that no one wants. You should be ashamed of yourself, Sadiq Khan. You're an utter wanker. And I swear to God, if I see him on street, oh, I don't know what I would do. I'd feel the urge to run and do a diving fucking Gascoigne style diving header into his fucking bent nose. Oh, I needed to get that out. I really needed to get that out. People, black cab drivers, It's so vitally important that when that election day comes, we tick the box David Curtin. And it's so we need to keep tweeting David Curtin at his, I'm going to put it in the link, what his Twitter is, and tell him, use us black cabs, all of us that speak to him, we will take his fucking flyers and we will dish them out to as many customers as possible. We will, on every journey that we do where there's a road closed or the cycle lanes are causing absolute gridlock, we can explain to our customers, this is all down to Sadiq Khan, and he is going to be redoubling it if he gets voted back in. So if you care about the city and your ability to get about and enjoy the city, then you need to get rid of Sadiq Khan, because he has no interest in people's standard of living within the city. All he cares about is looking good to his Twitter brigade and his fucking far left numpties that lick his ass. He's got to be gone. He has to be gone. David Curtin, oh please, David Curtin. If David Curtin gets in as mayor, I will donate £200 to any charity. Swear down. No, just not a charity that fucking Sadiq Khan benefits from. Please share this. I'm sorry about the swearing, but in a video like this, I didn't even...
Anyway, I think we get the gist of what Mr. Coconut Cabbie was talking about. And in all honesty, I don't think it's just cabbies. I think if you're a van driver, if you're a lorry driver, if you're a delivery person that is not on a motorbike, if you're a motorist and you give a shit about actually going into London occasionally, I know you hoity-toity Hampstead Heath living rich bastards will probably get an Uber into central London when you want to go and watch The Lion King or Hamilton. But the rest of us, some of us would like to have our car nearby. Some of us don't necessarily want to fucking have to Uber it into central London and back out into the fucking sticks where we all have to live, because we can't afford to live in central London or in Hampstead Heath, you fucking rich pricks. So yes, for anyone who's a motorist who gives a shit about going into central London, having access to central London, yeah, you know who to vote for. Now, I don't even know David Curtin. I'll be honest, I have no idea who he is. It's the first time I'm even looking at this Twitter page, but immediately I'm voting for him. With no other reservations. This man could be best friends with Jimmy Savile at this point, and I would still vote for him. He could be having tea and scones and fucking clotted cream with strawberries with Rolf Harris, and at this point I would still vote for him over Sadiq Khan. So, it's up to you guys. For those of you who live in London, that is. For those of you who don't, this doesn't even concern you. But for those of you who live in London, check out David Curtin. I have no idea. All I've literally, everything I know about this man is London Assembly member, Brexiter, writer, speaker, Christian, social conservative, pro-life, pro-free speech, pro-free markets. And to be honest, from that list, he definitely ticks 2 out of the lot for me. Free speech, free speech, free market, and a Brexiter. Those things I am absolutely on board with. I'm not so much into his Christianity, pro-life. I don't really care about those probably issues. But a mayor of London doesn't have power to do anything about those issues anyway. I'm not worried about him suddenly turning London into a pro-life Christian friggin' theocracy. We're not electing a king. We're electing a mayor of London who's still going to be under the jurisdiction of Parliament. So I'm safe. I can sleep safely at night knowing that he's not exactly going to turn Britain into a theocracy. But as far as his policies, just the mere fact that he's not Sadiq Khan, I think is a winner for me. That's all I care about. So yes, if you're a Londoner, please go check out David Curtin. If you're a motorist, if you care about the fact that you wish occasionally to drive into London to catching a theater show, or maybe have dinner or have a couple of drinks with friends, and you don't want to Uber it or have to get on the god-awful, and by the way, the god-awful London transport system, which is diabolical and shite. That is why I ride a motorbike. Then if that is the case, then go ahead and check out David Curtin. I'm not entirely sure what other... I think he's the only Conservative, I guess, and the others are... I don't know if there's any other Conservatives running. And tonight's drink, which I didn't announce initially, this is Havana Club with pomegranate juice, which I have found to go really well. Now, unfortunately, in most bars and clubs, you're not going to find pomegranate juice widely available, so it's going to be a difficult one to get outside of your own home. But if you are enjoying her Havana Club, try it with pomegranate juice. It is good. I'm Iranian, and pomegranate is like, we live on that shit. So that's probably why. Hey, so what else do we have? The second thing I wish to move into. Now, the second thing, now there's a couple of things that I want to play. Now, number one, okay, I'm gonna use this particular point for my own particular rant when it comes to this issue. Now, I was talking to a friend of mine a few nights back, and I had an epic rant. I should have recorded it. It was an epic rant about the Hong Kong citizens, and I think 100%. And if you guys really want to get a great video on this, go and watch Voltaire's Ghost, who did a brilliant video on the Chinese and the Hong Kong citizens, and the fact that they're losing their freedom, they're losing their rights. And the Chinese government is basically muscling in on them. If you don't know about the plight of the Hong Kong citizens, then by all means go check it out. Now, for me, it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. Look at this. Boris Johnson offers 3 million Hong Kong citizens refugee. Absolutely. Absolutely. I will take one Hong Kong citizen. I will take 10 Hong Kong citizens over a Somali on any given day. Any given day. Like, it's not even a fucking contest for me. You want someone from Somalia, from Syria, from fucking Algeria, from Libya? Fuck all of them. Hong Kong citizens, all the way. These people deserve a place in this country because, number one, they're high IQ individuals. They are majority high IQ. Number two, they are exceedingly hardworking individual people. And number three, Britain literally was running Hong Kong up until the 90s, for crying out loud. We're not talking thousands of years. We're talking recent people. So these are British citizens as far as I'm concerned. So yes, bring them in. Fuck actually, there was a video, I gotta find it. Those 480 refugees on a dinghy came across the fucking Thames the other day, and France is literally ferrying them. France is literally ferrying fucking refugees across the Thames now. They don't give a fuck anymore. They're just like, fuck it. We're just sending them over to Britain. So France is sending their refugees over to us, we are denying, or we should be denying those refugees or shipping them right back to wherever the fuck France brings them over. And damn, I'm sorry, I'm looking for this video that I was seeing about the refugees. Here we are. Someone sent it over. Let me see if I can play some of this. There you go. 480 migrants to move to England on Sunday on boats.
Just a pattern with these videos, bearing in mind the Jeremy Vine one had nearly 80,000 already in less than 24 hours yesterday. The first thing that thickos and trolls like to do is disparage you and stop the debate by either calling you racist, sexist or homophobic, which is fine. I've heard it a million times in the last month. It's not true, and I truly couldn't care less. As I sit in first class flying to Las Vegas when the flights are open, out of money that I've earned from making these videos, you can stay in your mother's back bedroom, attacking other people on Twitter, feeling like the big man. Well, I'm going to do something now that they're all going to say he's racist, but it's not racist. It's actually a legitimate debate that we've got to have. 2,660 migrants arrived on our shores so far in 2020, and 160 of them arrived on Sunday alone. A further 200 were picked up by French authorities on the other side of the channel. What are we going to do about this?
Well, I mean, he's gonna go on. I'd post a link in the chat for anyone who wants to see it. But what I'm saying is, this is happening anyway. It's happening. They're coming over all day, every day. The COVID or no COVID, lockdown or no lockdown, we're still getting fucking people coming on our shows anyway. So the way I see it is, we can literally, legitimately refuse all refugees for the next 3 or 4 years and say we will accept Hong Kong citizens, and we can take in, let's say, at least 1 million, if not, I mean, he's offering 3 million. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's lock Britain out of all other immigrants except Hong Kong. This could be a legitimate thing. Not even the fucking social justice bitches could complain about this, because we are taking on refugees. We're taking on refugees, those who are being oppressed by one of the most authoritarian, dictatorial regimes in the world, with tremendous amount of power and influence around the world, with nuclear arms, the Chinese government. And we are giving refugees to Hong Kong citizens, which we actually have an obligation to. And they are some of the best quality refugees you can ask for, given their high work ethic and high IQs. So fuck everyone else. Fuck everyone else. Lock the shit down. If you're not a Hong Kong citizen, you get immediately refused. Let's do it. Let's do that shit. Because in all honesty, at this point, I'm done. I am fucking fed up with just having to put up with just the scum of the fucking rest of the planet just crawling in. Why don't we just take in some high level, high IQ, high quality refugees? We still can take in refugees, except these refugees will actually benefit the country. But anyway, why can't we just stop opening our doors when knocked on? Well, because KRS, you got a country full of fucking liberal, limp-wristed fucking lefties who are gonna start bitching and crying about why you're not letting the world into Britain. So, we can actually work this properly and appease both groups. We can let in high quality refugees or citizens effectively. At the same time, tell these people to shut up. No, I'm sorry. We're taking on Hong Kong citizens at the moment, and we can't afford to take on anyone else. So anyone else who finds themselves on Britain from any other country as a refugee, immediately refused. Only Hong Kong citizens for the next, 5 years. For the next 5 years, 6 years, whatever. We can have a time limit on it, but we can immediately refuse them. And besides, no refugee, by the way, ever gets to this country without going into another country first. Especially those fuckers who are coming over from Calais, who are coming over from France and Spain and whatever. They're already in a secure country. The rules of global refugee status is you claim or you apply for refugee status at the first safe country you arrive in. And Britain is not the first safe country these people arrive in. We all know that. That's guaranteed. So they can actually apply back to France, back to Germany. Germany, take them on. Germany, when the Germans holding up placards saying refugees welcome? Well, Germany, if you're such a wonderfully generous nation, take on these refugees that are paddling their way across the channel to Britain. Why aren't they going to Germany? Germany is a wonderful place to live. It's got a great GDP too, and with this COVID thing, believe me, you guys are going to want to be in Germany because of their healthcare and their general welfare system, far better than Britain's. And Britain is just becoming worse and worse every day anyway. I mean, it's becoming a nightmare to claim for things as far as benefits are concerned. So, go to Germany. We want the Hong Kong people in. So anyway, that was my smaller version of the rant I had about that. But also Voltaire's Ghost did an amazing video. Brexit is still happening, KRS. It's, we have Brexited, dude. We've officially Brexited. My new passport should arrive fairly soon because my passport needed renewing, and within a few weeks I will show you my new royal blue passport. It looks sublime. And so yes, the passports will be in. So we're already Brexited. We actually are out of Europe officially. It's just now they're negotiating a deal as far as trade is concerned on how the trading deals between Britain and Europe is going to be sort of done. But officially, actually, we're out. We're out. Okay. As far as the next thing, okay, we did the Boris Johnson, we did the 480 migrants, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, this was a brilliant little video from a lady in Parliament. Now, I don't know who this lady is, but we need more people like this. And I think the pendulum is finally swinging. I personally feel the pendulum is now swinging from the extreme communist left to the center, hopefully, slightly conservative for a while. But I mean, the fear is always for it to go too far right. But the pendulum is definitely swinging. People are getting fed up of this council culture, of these tech giants just throwing people off YouTube and Twitter and stuff willy-nilly. And people like Parler, they're coming through. By the way, if you're not on Parler, get on Parler. Parler is a great alternative to YouTube. So if you're not on Parler, get on it, check it out. I don't know what the hell is this. Okay, I guess there you go. I don't know. I mean, I haven't logged in on this one, but if you are on it, get on it. I'm on it. Sargon is on it. Milo is on it. Oh, Katie Hopkins is on it. She's freaking awesome on Parler. She is just doing some amazing work on Parler. It's just, she's so funny. I mean, I always liked Katie Hopkins. I know a lot of people hate her, and don't get me wrong. I used to despise her. I used to be these anti Katie Hopkins. I hate you. You're a racist bitch kind of shit. And she's conservative. That's for shit show. And she does play to her audience. But nevertheless, I think she's now saying things that others fear, basically. No, it's Parle. Why? Who's putting A? Did I put A? It's ER. Parler. Parler. Sorry, Parler. Anyway, whatever. I'm getting distracted. Okay, I wanna play this one clip for this lady who's expressing. Now, these are things that were only whispered in corners in 2-3 years ago. Now, finally, parliamentarians are standing up and actually speaking out.
Education is meant to be something where we have science, technology, history, philosophy coming together, and where diversity of thought is debated and explored, where children are taught how to think, not what to think. Sadly, this seems less often the case, and I had several students who came to me actually yesterday and said, we no longer feel that we are allowed to share our opinions if it's contrary to that of this sort of pervasive worldview within their school and integrated curriculum. Could we therefore have a debate in government time on the importance of protecting free speech and diversity of opinion within education? Like the BBC remit, why shouldn't schools be required to present multiple sides of political, historical, and philosophical debate?
My honourable friend is absolutely right. Freedom of speech is fundamental to how our society operates. Democracy, the rule of law, freedom of speech and the rights of property are the 4 pillars on which our constitution is built, and a constitution that has thrived through the centuries. If you take away freedom of speech, then you undermine all the other pillars that have supported our constitution. It is a requirement in state-funded schools to teach a broad and balanced curriculum that promotes the spiritual, moral, cultural, mental and physical development of pupils at schools, and this must be done in a way that encourages freedom of speech. And the key to that is that we all have to accept the right of people to express views that not only that we don't like, but on occasions we even find offensive. If we only accept views that we like and find unchallenging, then there is no freedom of speech.
I thank you, Mr. Rees-Mogg. So yeah, that was Jason Rees-Mogg, and also free speech is one of the pillars of the Constitution. I don't know the lady. I don't know the lady who made the speech. I'm afraid. So So I'm afraid I can't actually tell you about her. But one thing I can say is there was another segment with John Cleese, which I saw, which was, this is actually comedians talking about cancel culture, but this John Cleese segment was really poignant, not just for the liberals and the cancel culture and the Marxist, neo-Marxist, sort of cultural Marxist types of people, also for the conservatives and the far right wing, because they are just as bad, they are just as censorious. And I think this is a beautiful demonstration of what I was thinking. It's kind of exemplifies what I was thinking so well.
People can't control their own emotions, then they have to start trying to control other people's behavior. And when you're around super sensitive people, you cannot relax and be spontaneous because you've no idea what's going to upset them next. And that's why I've been warned recently, don't go to most university campuses, because the political correctness has been taken from being a good idea, which is let's not be mean, particularly to people who are not able to look after themselves very well. That's a good idea, to the point where any kind of criticism of any individual or group can be labeled cruel. And the whole point about humor, the whole point about comedy, and believe you me, I've thought about this, is that all comedy is critical. Even if you make a very inclusive joke, like how'd you make God laugh, answer, tell him your plans. Now, that's about the human condition. It's not excluding anyone. It's saying we all have all these plans which probably won't come, and isn't it funny how we still believe they're going to happen? So that's a very inclusive joke. It's still critical. All humor is critical. And if you start saying, oh, we mustn't criticize or offend them, then humor's gone. With humor goes a sense of proportion. And then as far as I'm concerned, you're living in 1984.
Yes, the irony of it all, where Fawlty Towers is now cancelled or has been removed. the irony of what he said, and immediately the results of what he's saying is coming to pass. It's unbelievable. But anyway, there's another bit that's coming up which I think is even better.
Seriously though, we've heard a lot about extremism recently, a nastier, harsher atmosphere everywhere, more abuse and bother boy behaviour, less friendliness and tolerance and respect for opponents. All right, but what we never hear about extremism is its advantages. Well, the biggest advantage of extremism is that it makes you feel good, because it provides you with enemies. Let me explain.
Now this is amazing. Listen to this. This is years ago. This was probably in the 80s or something, or 70s maybe this was done. So things that are true and truisms don't change that often with years or generations. This is for both sides. This is for both liberals and conservatives. If you think you are not included in this speech, you're wrong. This is for you too.
The great thing about having enemies is that you can pretend that all the badness in the whole world is in your enemies and all the goodness in the whole world is in you. Attractive, isn't it? So, if you have a lot of anger and resentment in you anyway, and you therefore enjoy abusing people, then you can pretend that you're only doing it because these enemies of yours are such very bad persons. And that if it wasn't for them, you'd actually be good-natured and courteous and rational all the time. So, if you want to feel good, become an extremist. Okay, now you have a choice. If you join the hard left, they'll give you their list of authorized enemies. Almost all kinds of authority, especially the police, the city, Americans, judges, multinational corporations, public schools, furriers, newspaper owners, fox hunters, generals, class traitors, and, of course, moderates. Or, if you'd rather be an extremist on the hard right, no problem, fine, you still get a lovely list of enemies, only they're different ones. Noisy minority groups, unions, Russia, weirdos, demonstrators, welfare sponges, meddlesome clergy, peaceniks, the BBC, strikers, social workers, communists, and of course, moderates and upstart actors. Now, once you're armed with one of these super lists of enemies, you can be as nasty as you like and yet feel your behaviours morally justified. So you can strut around abusing people and telling them you could eat them for breakfast and still
like punch a Nazi. Punch a Nazi. It's okay to punch a Nazi because, well, the Nazis, right? It's okay. You're morally justified.
You could eat them for breakfast and still think of yourself as a champion of the truth, a fighter for the greater good, and not the rather sad paranoid schizoid that you really are.
And well, yeah, I mean, there was another one further down. There is an image that comes up, which actually, I mean, the thing is, I can't even play some of these Ricky Gervais stuff. I'm going to get fucking strike down for them. But this image, which I've actually managed to get here, which is just, it's absolutely genius. I don't know. I mean, what more can you say? This is exactly what is happening to every conservative or every outspoken YouTuber that's going. If you're a YouTuber or if you're anyone who's out there trying to make a living out of, public commentating or having, being an opinionated person, producing op-eds, I guess they call them, or opinion editorials. This is it. This is what happens to you. The liberal left will come if you're a platform creator. Now look at this, and I will promise you this will happen to Parler. They're gonna come for Parler. I've already seen various messages and tweets of liberals and Antifa types saying we're gonna have to do something about Parler because Katie Hopkins has got 300,000 followers on Parler within 7 days. I think she got that, or just under a week or just over a week and a bit. Now, this is what they do. We demand to be included in your space to make it more diverse and inclusive. So they'll come to your platform. This is especially relevant to platform owners, those of the types who are coming up, if you like, the Minds, the Gabs, the Parlers, etc., etc. So this is what they did to Twitter. This is what they did to YouTube, by the way. This is what they did to all of these. YouTube got sold to Alphabet, got sold to Google, and Google were already hard leftist anyway. But I think Twitter and Facebook were not. I think Zuckerberg and John Conti, or whatever his name is, the guy who owns Twitter, were kind of more in the middle, free speech type guys. But they got hoodwinked by this exact model. We demand to be included in your space to make it more diverse and inclusive. It's like, okay, fine. You guys want to use it? Go ahead. Post a tweet. We demand you change this space to our liking and ban stuff that offends us. So Twitter, you've got Nazis on Twitter. What are you doing, John? You got Nazis on Facebook. How dare you? We're going to go to your advertisers and tell them you have Nazis on Facebook. Get those Nazis off Facebook. Who are the Nazis? Well, anyone we tell you that are Nazis. And then the next section, we demand you kick out of these spaces we created since you offend us. We demand you be kicked out of these spaces we created since you offend us. And this is the Twitter mob that we have today. They kick out those who they think that this is the space they created, even though they didn't. They just elbowed their way in. And then the final one, lol. If you hate us, why not just make your own space? So they're gonna come to Parler. They're gonna come to Parler because that's what happened. They kicked you out of Twitter. They kicked you out of YouTube. They kicked you off Facebook. They kicked you off Twitch. So what do? You're a Tommy Robinson. You're a Katie Hopkins. You have fans. You have fans. You have 1 million fans on Twitter. You have 1 million fans on Facebook. So people like you. People listen to what you have to say. So what do? You don't want to stop that. You want to carry on. You like the fact that people like and are engaged with your ideas and opinions. So you go to a place where these assholes are not there. You go to Gab, you go to Minds, you go to Parler, VK, what's the other one? Telegram. What are they going to do? They'll come to those platforms now. They will come to those platforms and they will tell those platforms, you have to be inclusive. You have to let us on too. So what's Parler going to do? Parler is a business at the end of the day. They have stakeholders. They have people. They have to feed people. They have to pay wages for people they have to pay those servers to be online. So they'll like, sure, you want to have a Parler account, go and have a Parler account. We're not stopping you. And then what they'll do is they'll come and they'll worm their way into your platform, and then they start complaining. Oh, Parler is full of Nazis. Oh, look at all these hate speech, hateful people on Parler. Parler, you're gonna have to do something about this. What are you doing, Parler? You've got all these hateful people on your platform, and then they'll start pointing to Katie Hopkins and Milo and Tommy and all the rest of them. And then they'll laugh and go, well, it's a private platform. It's a private company. They can do whatever they want. If you don't like this place, why don't you go and make your own platform? And the cycle begins yet again. And round we go. And I will promise you this, a year or two from now, Parler will be on the same fucking chopping block. Parler will get the same shit. Parler will have their servers shut down because they don't just go to Parler. They'll go to Parler's data center who hosts their servers, or they'll go to the domain controllers who are running Parler's servers or domains, and they'll start having them taken down from Parler. They'll have their domain controllers cancel Parler from that end, or they'll have their payment system like Stripe with MasterCard removed. So, if you don't like it, why don't you go and create your own credit card? Why don't you just make your own credit card? This is why cryptocurrency is such a threat to these people, because they can't control crypto the way they can MasterCard and Visa and Stripe and all these other payment processing companies. Because if you go and buy yourself some crypto and donate or pay or donate to Parler or donate to one of your content creators on Parler with crypto, what are they going to do? Is MasterCard going to come and fucking try and take your Bitcoins from you? Is Visa going to try and lock down your Ethereum? No, they can't do shit with those. So personally, I'd say right now, and I said this back in 2016 about content creators having to find their own advertisers. Now they're all fucking finding their own advertisers. I said it. I have a video. I still have that fucking video on my Banksy style channel. Go and look at it. I said it in 2016. If you think that YouTube is going to demonetize you, you have to go and find and fish for your own advertisers. Now they're fucking all selling NordVPN and Raid Shadow Legends. Motherfucker, I was fucking head of the curb 4 years ago before your dumbasses. So now I'm telling you now, don't donate to your favorite content creator with fiat currency. Donate to your favorite content creator with Bitcoins, with Ethereum, with crypto. Go and buy some Satoshis or whatever cryptocurrency that is of your liking and then you feel is stable. Go and give that cryptocurrency to your favorite content creator. Don't give them fiat currency, because eventually they will lock the fiat currency. They're gonna come for those. They already have with Patreon. Stripe told Patreon they have to take certain people off Patreon because Stripe won't deal with them anymore. Banks won't deal with them anymore. So start getting into the habit. If you're an IT illiterate individual, get to know your cryptocurrency, get to recognize how to buy small fractions of crypto, and if you're going to donate to your content creator of your choice, do it with a crypto, because they're going to come for the payment processes. They're going to come for their livelihood. That's the only way they're really going to try and take these people out. They've been doing it anyway, but they're going to do it. I'm telling you now, mark my fucking words, 14th of July 2020, I told you to go and give content creators crypto and not fiat currency, and watch my fucking, watch this space and see how they're going to lock out all the payment processes for Parler, for BitChute, for Gab, for Minds, and all the rest of them. unless those companies have already made provisions to counter these things. I think Gabs has, but I don't think Parler has. I think somebody should talk to Parler at the top end and start telling them to recognize that they're going to come for the payment processes of Parler. Parler is now going to have a giant bullseye on their fucking forehead. Banksy, I'll take your money in any way. However, I do put into crypto. Yeah, there you go. War Kettle is head of the curve already. He's already dealing with crypto. So is like Tim Pool. I know he does crypto. He takes crypto. I don't know if Sargon does, but I think he should. I think all of them should. Atheism is unstoppable. All these guys should be taking crypto. Visa told Gab to do one. There you go. Visa's already told Gab they're not going to support them. So that's how I see it, man. That's the future. The future is some sort of cryptocurrency. If you're going to support controversial people. Now, by the way, I was in one of these, I was in Curry's at the weekend, and I noticed a lot of fridges with touchscreen, web-enabled fridges. Also, web-enabled washing machines. Now, I have to admit, there is unfortunately a scenario where you can become excessive with a lot of paranoia. But Computing Forever actually talked about this concept a long time ago as well. If you see for example, one of my accounts is connected to my Google Chrome. One of my YouTube accounts is the account that is connected to my Google Chrome. And it suddenly dawned on me one day that if Google deletes my Google account, my YouTube account, which is connected to that Google Gmail account, my Google Chrome will be disabled effectively from that account. I would have to go and create a new account and then put all the new, all the features and whatever I want on that Google Chrome back into it. Possibly even my phone would have problems, because if you're using Android, you're using Google products. So if Google cancels your YouTube account because of your political opinions, just start to think how many different things it will affect in your life. And believe it or not, before you know it, what happens the day when your fridge won't fucking open? The door locks because your Google account has been locked down, or because you posted some idiotic shit on Facebook or Twitter. Now your car doesn't start. How long is it going to be till that happens? Your Teslas, your future, I guess, Google cars. Google is working on producing cars, automated cars. I even heard Apple is. So imagine your washing machine won't open the door because you tweeted some fucking thing that people are now think is racist. Or you posted something that looks like blackface on Facebook. Now your washing machine is calling you a racist. Your washing machine goes, fuck off, you racist bastard. I'm not opening. You're not washing your jeans today. Take the knee to your washing machine for Black Lives Matter before they let you wash your clothes. Oh shit. I wonder when that's coming. I wonder when you have to take a knee to your fridge before you can fucking get a drink. Before you can open it to get your food. Holy shit. What is this? If you link all your stuff to the internet, you're fucked when they turn off the internet. Yep. There's a chance. There's definitely a chance. Please. Yes, indeed. The woke appliances. Just make sure you don't have woke appliances in your house, because if they're woke, you're fucked. Okay, now swiftly moving on to the next little thing. Now, you guys all know my fondness for this lady.
Take 100.
Take 100. Apparently that was Take 100. Let's hear that again one more time, please.
Take 100. Trying to get this right, just wrote this. So I memorized it reading straight off the pad.
This is straight off the pad, people. Straight off the pad.
Big up everyone. It's a girl like Z.
Big up everyone.
Check it. Listen. Take a deep breath, close your eyes.
Okay, we're not gonna go into this too deeply. I'm just trying to remind you of what one of my favorite people on the Speaker's Corner scene and YouTube sort of does. Now, I have found, I think, a challenger to Zubaydah's crown in regards to rapping and god awfulness, all in one bag, in one beautiful package. And I went down the rabbit hole of this whole thing, and I just have to share it because, well, if I suffer, so must you. So here we go. By the way, note the location. Location is the local KFC. That's the location of this music video. This is a music video by Millie B, and it is a send to some girl called Sophie Aspin. These are rappers in north of England.
If you don't know me, I'm M to the B. Coming in hard, you better watch it, Sophie. You think you're the only girl doing grime. M to the B's here, step in line. Coming in hard with my bars. Sophie Aspin is about to get barred. Read your bars off your iPhone 4. I don't do that shit, I do it hardcore. You got murked by little T, now you're getting murked by me. You shag bear lad, you're a little scat. Have you heard your bars? They're fucking pep, yeah, that's what they are. Now listen carefully to my sick bars. They scream my name like ya. Sophie, yeah, you're a little whore. Looking at the face, what the fuck you contoured. You want me to lend you a blender? I'm being serious, I'm not trying to offend you. Sophie, yeah, you should stick to singing, cause when you spit, my ears are ringing. How can you shag bear lads? Is your fanny not singing? I bet your fanny's fucking minging. So at your manky scowl's brow, M to the B is coming at you with a row. You're enough to turn all lads camp. You know that cause you're a fucking tramp. Repping around in your shit clothes like Josh said, what the fuck's that pose? Saying shit about people's mums, that's tight. Sophie asked me, do you want your fat? Bet your blowies are fucking shat, that's what I said. All the boys say you give shit head, that's what I said, so what you gonna do? All the things you spit about aren't even true. Sophie asked me, little rat, I bet you riddled and Pop's got the clap. Sophie, yeah, you can't murk me, you're slag riddled with STDs. Fuck that shit, come be yours, me and you. You're an animal, you belong in the zoo. I'm sending for you, so what you gonna do? You bounce on next man's dick like a kangaroo, like a kangaroo.
Like a kangaroo.
So, where do we go from here? If I send back, I'll throw you off the pier. I'm sending for you with no fear, so come on, so put the best you can give. Your bars are shit, so you may as well quit. You may as well quit, cause your bars are shit. Your bars are fake and my bars are real. Is it true you got bummed on a field? You think you're a chav with your string jacket? Turns Sophie Aspin off, what a fucking racket. What a fucking racket. We all know the best MC, it's M to the B, 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 it's M to the B. Bang.
Remember, it's M to the B, bang. M to the B, bang. I think I've found it, people. I have found Zubaydah's nemesis. we gotta. I am thinking about how I can tie Zubaydah to this girl, and we can somehow bring them together and have some kind of rap battle. This would be epic. It would literally be one of my bucket list check off no, sort of things on my bucket list which I would check off, possibly even above winning the lottery. If I could get Millie B or whatever, M to the B to rap with Zubaydah. By the way, let us get a little bit more into Zubaydah's rapping as well, just as a source of comparison.
Release, corruption, mischief, got us drowning in our misery whilst they panning in their ministries. Once you call it out, they call it conspiracy. Trying to find the right remedy while I vibe to this melody. They can't drain my energy, reminiscing on the memories, safe against my enemies. Frenemies wanna take a part of me, stab me in my back and leave me to bleed. Have to double check if they move incorrect. I demand my respect, take time to reflect. Once you get it, invest, born to be the best. Hardly impressed by these trends, ain't got no regrets. I repent, pass me a pad and a pen, let me vent. Purchase a tent, take the one-way express, beginning of the end. Have to represent for the souls that are old, for the souls that are bold, for the souls that can't be sold. Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. I just want to see changes.
Oh, the cringiness of these are, it's like epic cringe. It's so cringe that my back hurts. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of this shit. I went down a very, very fucking scary rabbit hole of these people and their rapping. So like this is the girl that girl was rapping about. This is the Sophie girl.
Yeah. Sophie Aspin.
This is the girl that the other girl was dissing.
Yeah. You'll run out of bars. Trust me, you'll run out of bars. You'll run out of bars. Trust me, you'll run out of bars. You'll run out of bars. Run out of bars. This kid's gonna run out of bars. Yo, so soon you'll run out of bars. Trust me, you'll run out of bars. Yeah, you gotta stop, cause you know Sophie's just gonna tear you apart. You got bummed on the park. Just hate, yeah, you'll get sparked. No, you won't make it far. You ain't big, get your head out your ass. Your dad ain't even your dad, and I know that cause trust it's mad. So go get a DNA test, lad. There's about 60 potential man, you know. You tell people that you shag bare, but you ain't even in puberty. So little T, trust me, he'll get scared. This kid's got no opportunity. So I'll get you in the back of a van and force you to go thinking you're dad. Just hey, stop thinking you're bad. You get rammed in the shower by your dad. We know you so tough.
Okay, I have to stop this shit because I'll be honest, I can't. It's too cringy. The cringe level is high. The cringe is too much. I just want to bring some of this to your attention because I suffered and I laughed. I'm not gonna totally deny it. I did belly laugh the first few times a lot. So there was some joy in it for me. Now, the next segment before I move on to anything else is there's a lady here who has chosen. You know how recently women choose their wedding march. You know the traditional wedding march. Okay, let me see if I can. Let me bring up the traditional wedding march. Okay. Okay, this is your traditional run-of-the-mill wedding march, which most people play. Okay, this is what they play. Most people play or try to play in the English sense, European sense, at their weddings. Americans, Brits, possibly Canadians. So this is your traditional wedding march. Is it typical? Na, 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 na. But not this lady. This classy lady picked a whole other track, a whole new piece of music to inspire and entertain and beguile us with her wedding march music, which was sang by someone at the wedding who does not have a great voice. But the song itself is what I would like you to pay attention to, because I will bring you to the full attention of what that song is. But check this. This is just unbelievable. Just.
Oh, I can't see. I'm too short.
Break me down. You got a lovely face. Coming to your place. Now you gotta freak me out. Scream so loud, it's fucking late. You want me to stay, but I gotta make my way.
Did you see the father trying to cover up the child's ears? The father like, oh crap, this is not a normal wedding song. Look at this. the young boy looks like either he just stepped into some dog shit or he just heard something that was so vile that he wasn't sure. And look, the father kind of knows what's coming, and he's kind of looking. He's like, look at this. Like, what's going on here? What is this? This is a wedding. There are children here. He's looking around to see if anyone else approves of this shit. Is he the only one shocked by this?
Want me to stay, but I gotta make my way. Hey.
He's like, look, I'm sorry, son. We were gonna have the conversation about the birds and the bees a couple of years from now, but it looks like your Aunt Sally just hurled you into the world of adults. She just grabbed you and just threw you in that giant deep end of the world of adults, sex, fucking, and cocksucking. I know it's a little early. We were going to have the talk, but I guess Aunt Betty just did that for us.
You're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good I'm on top of it when I
Look at him. He's still shocked. He's still looking like, is this happening? How is it no one else is objecting to this?
Doing you all night, scratches all down my back, give me right all night. You're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good I'm on top of it when I dream. Doing you all night, scratches all down my back, give me right on. Take it up.
And Aunt Karen here is fucking going for it as well. She is loving it. She's like, fuck your children and the sense of child appropriateness that you surrounded yourself with. This ain't that kind of wedding. Should not have brought the kids to this one.
River is your game. Keep on there with me. Another one I paid it for. You're so far. Won't be alone. Guessing in my rocks. Or just a
Look at this. There's literally a toddler in the woman's arm. And this, okay, I'm gonna let you guys see the words that is being. If you may have missed it, I don't know, but these are the words that are being sung in that wedding. With just remember this image. Hold on, remember this image, okay, and these words. That image, young children.
Down. You got a
young
lovely
children.
face. We're going to your place, and now you got to freak me out. Scream so loud, getting fucking laid.
Scream so loud, getting fucking laid. You want me to say, you want me to stay, but I got to make my way.
You want me to stay, but I got to make my way.
Hey, you're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good. I'm on top of it. These were the words that were being sang in front of these children. Oh, the classiness of it all. And yes,
I'm crazy bitch, but you fuck so good I'm on top of it when I dream. Doing you all night, scratches all down my back.
When I dream,
Right all night. You're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good I'm on top of it when I dream. Doing you all night, scratches all down my back.
Look at this child. There is another young child. Look at this.
You're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good I'm on top of it when I dream. I'm doing you all night.
Scratches all down my back to keep me right on.
Keep me right on, hey. You're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good I'm on top of it when I dream. I'm doing you all night.
Scratches all down my back to keep me right on. Oh, this channel is never gonna get monetized. YouTube will never monetize my shit. I don't care. I don't care. This video has had 12 million views. No, the crazy bitch has had 3 million views, okay? 3 million views. Admittedly, it's in 2013, but I came across it recently, so... Oh, and by the way, the Millie B, or M to the B, she's had 2.1 million views on that video. Those god-awful rapping has had 2.1 million views. So don't knock it, man. Don't knock it till you try it. Okay, what else do we got? Crazy bitch. I think that's it. I think I'm done with my general ranting. Now I shall throw this to the mercy of the court. to the mercy of the speakers or the chatters. Anyone want to converse about any of the topics that we have discussed this evening? I want to be kind of strict on this because I don't want... I mean, especially I want to discuss the Zubaydah competition with M to the B or Millie B. Possibly the crazy bitch videos. I really would like to explore that. I am willing to stretch it to Hong Kong refugees. And of course, Sadiq Khan. But if anyone wishes to have a conversation, by all means, feel free. This is now the portion of the show in which I will throw it to the mercy of the chatters. We are an hour and 15 minutes in. I'd say I'd give it another hour, and then I'm done. I am done. Now, oh man, okay. Whilst we wait for anyone of interest to jump on to the panel, I want to discuss obviously a recent event that took place in our little world of Speaker's Corner, and that is, of course, Afghan and his face reveal. Now, I haven't really spoken to it myself because it's not of major interest to me. Well, it is some interest, but it's not like a massive thing. It's really Roger's beef. But I think it would be unfair to not discuss it at all. Now, I have to say, one of the best people who made a video about it is, of course, the Wasp. The Wasp did make a really good video. So I'm just going to use that in order to march forward. Oh, we have War Kettle. Big up, my man, the War Kettle. What's up?
Big up, Banksy. Much love, my brown sugar. How you doing? Well, actually, I'm brown. You're white.
You're my brown sugar.
Yeah. Come here, my white sugar. I love you.
How's it going?
It's all good, right? But genuinely, it's really funny because I was like, as soon as you put that link in, I was like, yeah, I need to get in there because I want to ask him about these girls that you were playing, and then you're like, yeah, I want to talk about that. So it's perfect.
So
it is like genuinely perfect, right? So first of all, who was the bird that was playing first? Put that back on a second. Let me see that a second.
Are you able to?
That's the one.
Do you want me to share my screen on StreamYard, or can you watch the regular stream?
StreamYard. Yeah, watch on the stream. Screen share, yeah. It plays audio, doesn't it? StreamYard.
Yeah. I can have. But the thing is, I'll have the audience playing it differently. As in, I'll have the audience. Okay, let me.
I get you.
I'll have it on OBS for this audience, and then I'll do a screen share for us, so we can discuss and debate.
I need like a couple of seconds of it. I just want to hear it again.
Yep, no worries. Okay, can you see it?
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
If you don't know me, I'm M to the B. Coming in hard, you better watch it. So
yeah.
Girl doing grime. M to the B, say step in line. Coming in hard with my bars. Sophie Aspen is about to get hard.
Good.
Read your bars. I don't do that shit.
So basically, basically, first of all, DM me that link to that, because that bird is on fire, mate. I love this fucking, like, our cheesy rap scene. Mate, this shit has been going on for like 2 decades. 2 decades of the most cringiest, cheesiest, but sometimes there is gold. There's like actual talent out there that needs, and I think this girl's got talent.
You think so?
Mate, trust me, mate. I've been watching this, like, I've seen some horrendous shit, and she could go somewhere, man, for sure. Not like the other ones that you played. There's no chance of that. But this girl, I reckon she could go somewhere if she tried, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm putting in the side chat here in the StreamYard, but you can also pick it up. I can also put it in, I don't know, what's it called, Discord or something later for you. But really what you want to remember is Millie, is it Millie B, sending to Sophie Aspin. That's the crew because I saw, actually, when I started delving deeper into this fucking nightmare that is these rappers, I discovered that she and her, Sophie and Millie, actually did a video together initially. Then for some weird reason they started having beef, and then it all started to fall apart. From there, their beautiful friendship just fell apart, which was heartbreaking, really. I cried a little, but there's a few of those. Actually, Sophie sends for Millie as well, so there's a reply to that if you wanna indulge in that. There is also another one. Again, Millie sends for Sophie, says get a new jacket, stop reading your what's it called, your bars from your phone. Oh, I think Warkessel is actually listening to it. The whole thing. Are you with me? Nope, the kettle has gone. Okay, whilst the Warkettle is distracted, Mr. Kettle?
What the hell? Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Something weird happened with my phone. I was answering you. This happened the other night when I got to stop using my phone.
You were muted the whole time.
I don't know why I was muted.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. Anyway, you were saying, what's going on?
Yeah, that's it. As I said, I mean, you heard what I was saying then. Basically, yeah, Sophie then made a video sending for Millie, and then there's a little kid, and I'm telling you, these people are like 14, 15, 12.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not talking like adults here.
Oh no, man, they're all teenagers, and they're fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and then there's another guy called Little T. His name is Little T, and he is like 12. His name is Josh Tate, and he calls himself Little T. And I swear, and he's doing his thing as well. It's hilarious. It's absolutely brilliant. There is one I want to share with you and the audience, because it just found it as I was looking through the nightmare that it is, most of these. But this one is adults, and it's for me, absolute work of genius. Just everything about it is amazing, and I think you and I and my audience need to share this. This is a need to know moment, and you need to know this. So hold on, let me put this shit up.
You're hyping this up quite big, mate. That's all I'm saying. So don't disappoint.
You may have seen it before though, because this is, I'm sure it's very popular. I mean, let me hold on.
You mean you're fluffing me quite hard right now,
it's got
mate.
1.5 million views, so you can just guess how amazing this must be.
A fucking laughing donkey can get like 20 million views.
Right,
so
I gotta go fucking find the laughing donkey then. I'm barely breaking 1,000 per video here. Where is that fucking donkey? Okay, this one is good.
Alright.
It's very romantic. Very, it touches your heart.
Turn it down a tad for me.
Turn it down.
Yeah, just a tad.
I'm living on benefits, so call me Tiana Lee. Hot tips, get my nails done every week. My hair extensions on the cheap. I know this scam and that scam, as long as I've had my spray tan. I'm the lady of the block. Give us a tenner and I'll suck your cock. I'm sick of hearing them moaning about all this stuff I get. Council house job seekers, how much do you net? I just want a rich bloke to hold me all night long and kiss me like I'm Jordan or someone who writes nice songs. A dealer or a rigger, that's my ideal bloke. He buy me loads of dead nice stuff and we do loads of coke. I'll make do with George Osborne, that bloke with all the dosh. He can bring the briefcase, I'll give him a nosh. I'm living on benefits, the comitiana Leo, hot tits. I'm not gonna worry about this stuff. If all else fails, I'll get up the duff. Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my days!
The duff on benefits.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I told you.
Give this woman a Grammy. Give this woman a Grammy.
Told you, man. Told you would not be disappointed. This was a work of genius.
You can put that in the chat as well for me, mate. I'm having that as well. Put that in the YouTube chat for me. I want that link.
Living on benefits,
That-
baby. I'm gonna put it
that is-
both. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the YouTube chat and on the side chat, so you got it all. Actually, no, I don't know if you're on your phone. I'm not sure how you.
I got the laptop, so I'm on my phone because I'm actually lying on my bed.
Ah, but you got the laptop.
I got my laptop on my lap, but I got my phone like on my chest so I can see everything. I'm like proper comfy, man.
Zero effort made here.
Yep.
This is a professional
But
outfit
nah.
we're running here, people.
Banksy, it's comfort time with Jay and Banksy.
Yes. So yeah, this Ned, I want this woman in my life.
It's amazing.
So yes, these are the things I've been doing through my COVID fucking lockdown. What have you been up to? You see, this is the fucked up thing. I see pictures and videos of Jay on TikTok, on Instagram, and he's by the sea. He's got these amazing, just Mediterranean fucking images all over, great, beautiful mountains and lakes or sea, and all these. Just it looks so picturesque. This fucker looks like he lives in a postcard. And then my life is spent looking at these fucking Nimrods with these videos. That's what I've done with my life. Living the dream, baby. Living the dream.
You clearly are, mate. I would say come visit, and why have you not come visit yet? But like, there's a bit of a problem with that.
Fucking let us.
They won't let you in the country.
They won't let me. But yeah, man. Yeah, I flip over to your Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and then I see you walking by the sea or just walking in these amazing like Cypriot places, and it just looks like you're on holiday. It just looks like you're on holiday like all the time, and then I go, okay, that's enough of Jay's fucking life. Now my life. let's watch another Millie B fucking diss track. What's Zubaydah up to? Oh, fuck my life. Fuck my life. You know what I did most of this weekend? The majority of my weekend was spent painting and decorating my brother's new flat. That's what I fucking did.
Do you want to know what I got up to this weekend? Do you want to know what I got up to?
It would probably upset me, but keep going.
It will massively. So Saturday afternoon, one of my English Cypriot mates come over. We had some beers, and then we went down the Sea Caves, which is down in Coral Bay. And basically, it's a cliff that basically you can jump off of. and fucking dive in and
cliff
shit
diving.
like that. Yeah, brother, you know it. And obviously it's Cyprus, so crystal clear water, as in like, yeah, you can see rocks, but it's deep enough. Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculously deep, but still, it's not like when you're like in England and you're doing it because you know it's safe. It's like, oh no, but you can actually see there is a bottom to it though. So you have that in your head, but still, oh my god, it was amazing doing it. And then we found like a little secret. Well, it's not a secret beach, but basically you have to swim around some rocks to get into it. Basically, it was dope. Yeah, because you can't get to it by climbing because of the way the rocks are and everything. And you actually have to swim around into it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So the only way you can get to it is by swimming to it. Bloody hell. In that case, then it does make it quite exclusive because not everybody's going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose locals, but other than locals, like regular people won't bother. Let me just give a quick big up to Hassan and Sam M in the chat. What's up? What's up? My jiggers. I said J before the fucking hordes come and lynch me. Just want to say that. Kettle, you muted yourself again?
I'm still.
Are you with me?
I'm still here. I'm just sorry. I'm even looking at my own Instagram now on the computer since you brought it up, and I'm just like, yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty fucking good. You know what I'm gonna do next Sunday? Yeah, the highlight of my next Sunday is gonna be fucking. Probably going down to, most likely going down to Speaker's Corner because there's a woman called Posey Parker. She's going to go there. And yeah, I don't know if you know her or not, but she became famous by posting a trans or anti-trans or, the TERFs. Have you heard about the TERFs?
Yeah.
She's a TERF, effectively.
Okay.
And she posted she paid for some poster to be posted to give the dictionary definition of women in the the dictionary definition of women, which is adult female or what was it? Here we are. It's a woman, a noun, adult human female, and so she's been like on a warpath with Twitter. I think she got banned off Twitter. I don't know exactly over this. And basically, yeah, she's on a bit of a warpath with all the trans people, or anyone who's trying to argue that trans people are real women, all that jazz. Actually, Sargon's been on that a little bit. I don't know. Have you seen anything about that? Have you heard anything about that?
Can't say I have. Yeah. I haven't. I haven't seen Sargon.
Too busy rock diving, cliff diving, and swimming to secluded beaches.
Well, Saturday I am going to a town that is called Cannabis, so that's going to be interesting.
It's a town called Cannabis?
Well, a village, I suppose, but it's in Greek, so it's the Greek word for cannabis. And apparently it's where they used to... Yeah. That's the name of the town. It's in the Greek word for cannabis. But yeah, I can't say it because I'm terrible at my Greek.
Apparently, what were they doing?
That's where they grew hemp and stuff for back in the day. Yeah.
Damn.
Before the government were like, whoa, we better not let these people have these fucking things to do what they want with. We can make money out of them instead.
Damn, nice. Well, I mean, that's. Is it legal officially in Cyprus to? By the way, is this a Cypriot? Is it in Cyprus or is it off the islands?
No, it's in Cyprus.
Oh,
I ain't leaving this island, man. It's just a little village up in the mountains.
Okay. And is it? Have they made it legal in Greece or Cyprus?
No, it's not legal in Cyprus.
Still not.
I live in Cyprus. This is Cyprus. We're not part of Greece in any way.
Okay.
We just speak Greek.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, I mean, the
Greek culture and everything else.
Everything is Greek except
its own its own independent country. Anyway,
so
fought the damn British for. But anyway, so
it's not strictly legal, but they don't really.
No, it's illegal. No, man, they enforce it. If you get caught, you can get in serious trouble. Even for smidgens amounts. Like we're talking smidgens. Yeah, but anyway, this town apparently used to be where they used to village, rather. It used to be where they used to grow it and stuff.
So that's
hemp
that's,
anyway for the
yeah,
navies
hemp,
and
of
stuff.
course. Yeah, I mean, you can make all sorts of things. Hemp has lots of other uses. But what was I going to say in regards to?
There is actually a funny thing about that village. Is it's right next to the village. Well, not right next to, but it's like 3 or 4 villages down from the Archbishop, who was the president when Cyprus got its independence. I can't think of his name right now. But he was born like a few villages down, which I find quite funny.
Nice. Also, he was actually born a few villages down from that cannabis village.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Cyprus is a small place. Everybody's born a few villages down from everywhere. In Cyprus. Everybody's only a few villages down from everywhere else. But how about your time on Streets stream the other night? I caught it right at the end of it. I caught the tail end. How did you find that? What was that all about?
So obviously Big John wanted to talk to me about the Schoolgate campaign, because basically I made that video, said like the woman in charge of it and the guy on the Hearts of Oak are coming across homophobic, and
you made a video about them?
Yeah.
I
and Big John won. What? Are you telling me you haven't seen my vegan video either then?
I'm sorry,
you son of a bitch.
I may not have.
That is prime quality right there. Like that vegan burger was amazing.
Oh,
you
the
have
vegan,
no idea.
Yes, I did see some of that. But I mean, generally, I don't think I watched the whole video. But yeah, because you posted it not just on YouTube. It was different, several different places. So I'm like losing track. I thought you said you did a video on the vegans, like veganism and all that. But you're talking about the Beyond Burger that you tried. Yeah.
It was beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Yeah. I saw that.
But yeah, so basically, Big John asked me on that show, and we talked about, and yeah.
Yeah. Well. I mean, I
knew what I was walking into, and I knew I wasn't going to I wasn't going there to change any minds or anything. That wasn't my plan. I was just going there to.
But it's just the reason I'm asking is because Streets has a bit of a love-hate relationship with YouTube, so he doesn't always keep all his YouTube videos up after they're finished, and you can't you can't go backwards on them either. Actually, it's kind of what I've done on my videos. So you can only watch them whilst the whole thing live, or try to record it whilst the whole thing is live, and I only got on when it was at the tail end of it, so that's why I didn't really hear the whole debate. So were you saying that the people from the Hearts of Oak were coming across as a little bit homophobic?
Not a little bit, massively homophobic. Like, she was talking about how like it's wrong that the gays have got equal got marriage equality and stuff like that. So yeah.
I mean, this is the problem. This is where most. Go on.
Sorry, go on.
No.
I was just gonna say, I was saying to Big John, like, just because an organization might have 1 or 2 points that I may agree with, doesn't mean I'm going to sign up to them when their leaders and everything are homophobic or whatnot. That would be like signing up with like a white nationalist group because you agree with them on Islam. It's like, no, exactly. I'm not going to sign up with the neo-Nazis just because to me it's ridiculous.
Yeah, this is exactly where most people in the center are being caught up in right now. Everything is so extreme, and this is why I played that John Cleese thing about extremism. It wasn't.
Yeah, but it always has, mate. It's politics for you. It's just always has been. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times when it dies down and everything, but we're going through that cycle at the moment, I believe.
Maybe, yeah. But the thing is, Britain. I'm just. Because I started to get seriously concerned when during recent weeks of BLM protests, when it all started with George Floyd, they started saying silence is now violence. So if you are not speaking out, then you are perpetuating violence, or you could be labeled a racist by simply saying, like, if I because I go, you yourself know what it's like when you go to these protests and you want to stay neutral, and you happen to be, if I happen to go to the Antifa or the Black Lives Matter side and I want to just record what's going on there, but I don't give any opinions on on politics. I just go and I just silently stand, record. Now, if I'm in that situation and someone comes over and goes, "What do you think of the blah blah blah?" and I say, "Look, mate, I don't want. I have no opinion on this. I'm just here, just recording." Well, that's it. That's a cue to say you're a racist. In this day and age, they've set it up in such a manner in which, if you just say, "I don't have an opinion on this. I just want to record neutrally," or "I just want to be a bystander," you're not allowed to. You're no longer allowed to be a bystander. They can then start calling you racist, and the mob will be on your fucking head by simply saying, "I don't want to get involved."
Can't really say I've had that issue, because obviously when I've been doing it, I've been in the crowd asking people questions and stuff like that. And if I have, actually no, I think I have one time, and I just sort of said how it was a peace, I said it was a peaceful, sort of kept it to the facts of the event going on. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's peaceful, and kept it like that. I didn't really say about if I was pro or against said thing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, the last time you were in London or Manchester and in England following one of these protests, I would imagine it was a year or so ago, or a couple of years ago, something like that. So it hasn't been in this particular climate. I'm talking about the dangers of this current climate of literally now they're saying if you're not even speaking out, you're a criminal, or you're.
I've seen it. I know what you're saying, but I've seen it happen before. It's happened loads of times to people. I mean, I know a journalist. Well, he's not a journalist. He's a photographer, and he sells his photos to newspapers and whatnot. And he's been attacked by the left and the right just for the simple fact of filming and taking photos. And he said, like you just said, and he's had multiple cameras broken, injuries and whatnot. I know a few people actually that do that sort of stuff, and that's happened too. And that was way before I even left England. Nothing that goes on, mate, really is new. It's all, in a way been going on. It's just a different message applied to it.
Yeah. I mean,
the far left has been this violent for ages, and the far right does its dumb, violent shit as well.
Admittedly, I have to say, I've seen, the Andy No, that sort of journalist guy.
Oh, what? You mean the far left being racist yet again, and then saying to the far right that they're racist?
Yeah.
They're literally doing the same thing.
Well, they started beating him up because they recognized him as a guy who.
Oh, sorry. Have you not seen the latest one where some random Asian guy got accused of being him? And
Are you kidding me?
No, that's what I thought you were referring to. Sorry.
No, I was talking about Andy No himself. But are you serious? You're saying some random Chinese looking guy? They beat up a random Chinese guy.
No, they didn't beat him up. They started throwing they started off throwing just like swearing at him first of all, like "fuck you, you're a prick," stuff like that. And he's like, and then he starts going, "You think I'm that?" Blah blah blah. Andy, how to pronounce his last name, guy?
Andy No.
And and it all basically kicks off. But the video sort of stopped there. It's only a short clip that I've seen.
Holy shit!
So fuck knows how it all played out. But yeah, that's what I thought you were referring to.
No, I haven't even seen that one.
Yeah, mate. Literally, it happened. Literally a couple of days ago. I got a video somewhere. Give me 2 seconds, and I'll find it about that whole situation. Yeah, and you can share it with the class.
That is insane.
You can share with the class.
Yeah, send it down. Either put it on the side chat here or in the main chat if you can. But
I have to put it in the main chat because my phone.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're on your phone on that one, so it's going to be a bit awkward. You must be. Yeah, you're an admin, so you should be able to post YouTube links. Should be able to post links. That is crazy, man. This is what I mean. This is what I'm saying about these guys. It's that video, the John Cleese video, literally sums it all up. Sums it all up to a T. If the person on the other side that is not of your side is the enemy, then you are absolutely justified morally in every shape or form to do whatever it is you do to them because they are evil. They are the enemy. They are, you are holding the moral high ground. But
let's be honest, mate. When it comes to that whole free speech thing, let's look at it realistically. Is the free speech debate, in my opinion, was ended in 1776 when the Americans created a true free speech model. The thing is, for some reason, a lot of the world is still dicking about and not sorted it out.
Yeah, well, I think it must be deeper. It's got to be much deeper in human psyche, and also, of course, the powers that be would want politics, and they want to control the people. They've always wanted to control the people. Religion, politics has always been a mechanism towards controlling the masses, in order to make sure that the few remain in their privileged, positions. So I think that there's always been an effort, to control the masses, and restricting speech is obviously one of those things. Now, I think in previous centuries, it could have been that they controlled the media, and so since they had a massive monopoly and control of the media, they could control people's behaviors by feeding them information and getting them to have certain voting habits, because they had that tight-knit control over the information that people were allowed to know. Now, in this century, that power has been taken away from them. The powers that be no longer have free reign over what you know, what you can explore and find out. Information has been democratized effectively, and information being democratized is a dangerous thing for those who want to sustain and keep their place of power and privilege, because, well, the old saying, knowledge is power. Knowledge absolutely is power, especially in a democratic system in which the people actually have some voting capabilities. Although, as I said, that is still I don't even consider the liberal democracies of Europe and North America to be totally interference free. They still have their nefarious methods, but for the most part, you can get anomalies like Brexit, like Donald Trump. Those anomalies can appear in these systems, whilst there's no chance of it ever appearing in a system like the Saudis or the Emirates or Bahrain or any dictatorship country like Libya under Gaddafi and so on and so forth. So you're not going to get outliers in those nations, but you might occasionally do that in these democratic nations. And I think that scares the shit. That has always scared the shit out of the powerful. Now, in this modern era, with them no longer having, they still do, because I still say a good 70% of the population is not really internet savvy. I think we're underestimating this little bubble that we're in. We are in the bubble, so we think that
90% of the people don't even understand what the internet is.
Exactly.
Like someone in your chat earlier was saying about turning the internet off, but the government can block normies from having it, but give me 30 minutes. Well, actually, now probably I'd need a lot longer. Probably a good couple of hours, but give me a dish, give me a Raspberry Pi. And some software in a couple of hours. We got internet, boys and girls. And we just bypassed the whole fucking network. Turning the internet off is literally impossible. However, the government can block you on the networks that you currently use very easily. We've seen that. The British government do it during riots. They told BlackBerry and a few others to turn off their servers in the UK during the 2010?
That's right.
Riots?
Yeah. The because they were using the BBM, the BlackBerry messaging service, and they were coordinating these riots through that. So they told them, shut it down. So BlackBerry shut it down. But to be honest with you, nowadays, if you're thinking about if they coordinate something over, for example, what's it called, Telegram, or VK, or these other sort of Russian and non.
But if these websites don't comply with what the British government tell them to do, because at the end of the day, the government will have the authority based on the fact they passed the law in Parliament, if there isn't already one, and they'll tell these companies, get in line, do what we say, or we block you. And basically that means that normies, the people watching, won't be able to access said website. It will be effectively blocked.
Yeah, by the normies. But unfortunately, that's the thing. I mean, I think that's the power that these governments have, is because the companies want to appeal to the normies because that's how they grow. And if the governments shut down the normies, now the non-normie people, we can still get around it. I know like 10 ways off the top of my head just to get around any blocking thing. That, I mean, there's never been a site that's been blocked by the government or by my ISP that I haven't managed to get around it within like a minute. It's ridiculous that these people even try, because it's so easy to get around them these days. But yeah, you're right. The normies won't be on there. The companies will get shit scared. They're like, oh Christ, we're literally selling out the whole of the UK, or 80% of the UK, for a handful of rebels, and so they're not gonna take the rebels over the UK. So yeah, absolutely.
Here's an example, right? So you know the GDPR that came out in Europe?
Yeah.
Right. Did you know that Google implemented that policy worldwide because it was easier?
Yeah, some people would. Yeah, absolutely. I don't blame them. Facebook, I think, did as well. Because
a lot of these big corporations. So Americans, their data protection, their data, like with Facebook and other sites that are used in Europe, is more secure because of European law. So for those Americans out there, you're welcome.
But admittedly, there are
It's
still...
not often we get to say that to the Yanks, because normally it's them going, "You're welcome, Europe, for protecting you from the evils of Russia."
But it's not that they're really protecting anyone. They're actually just putting, like, you just get an extra pop-up saying that this site has cookies and shit like that. But there are websites which I've come across that do say, I'm sorry, this website is not accessible in your region due to GDPR compliance, and they don't want to be GDPR compliance because they're an American. And then I just have to jump on a VPN and then just reroute. But exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's like a 2 minute. It's literally a 2 minute effort to get around it. But yeah, you're right. To some extent, they have added this GDPR thing, and big companies. Yeah, it would be easier. I mean, my company that I worked for previously, when we were going through GDPR, that's what we did. It was easier for the whole company to adopt those measures than it was for just our UK branch or the UK arm to try to do it, and then would have issues communicating with our US, counterpart. So we thought, the only way to do it, because otherwise we'd have issues of just emailing each other. We'd have a million different issues because there was so much inter sort of company activities between the US and us. We were jumping on each other's machines, on each other's VMs, all over the place. We were working. Like the people in the US were working with us like they were in our office, basically. You know what I mean? That's how we worked. We were constantly communicating and working together. So for that reason, it would have been impossible to work freely if the US decided to stay separate. It would have just been ridiculous. It's just totally impractical. So yeah, and I guess other countries as well, Russians and Chinese and Japanese and so on and so forth. We had to kind of, we didn't have much issues with like Far East nations, but if we were going to have any dealings, we would have to get them on board with GDPR as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a thing. I don't see GDPR as actually a thing to give us to that has benefited. I think it's a guise for more censorship. It's not actually they always slip it under the rug with, oh, this is a benefit for you, the user. This is for you. We're doing this. There's always something else.
Nah, a lot of it is actually. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some things that are a bit questionable, but a lot of it is literally down to not just protecting user data, but also corporations. So there's like insurance and things like that come under it.
Yeah, but also to force corporations to censor certain things, they have a much tighter grip on them now than they did prior. And things like, I mean, admittedly,
a lot of it is just reinforcing laws that they've already got in place anyway. from what I remember. I'd have to re-look at it, but
yeah, I never really trust these guys. There was another one actually. There was Article 13, something to do with to do with memes and all that. I don't know what happened to that because the YouTubers were losing their collective shit over.
Yeah, it didn't go through the second or third round.
Oh, did it not make it then afterwards? Because I thought
from what I remember.
Well, no. What it was that I think it passed the European Parliament stage, but each individual country has to implement it themselves. They can't force each individual country to do it. So if the countries don't apply it, then the law is practically useless. They can only do it by the consent of each individual nation. Britain is leaving Europe, so fuck them.
Well, we were already not gonna. I don't think
we weren't gonna do it anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
So that's how that goes.
We had a special relationship.
Yeah. But I mean, either way, we're leaving, so it's not gonna really make. They'll lose even that one level of control or pressure that they had on us in regards to being a European Parliament. If they wanted to make it, like they wanted to push for it or make it mandatory, or somehow they wanted to tie it in so that everybody had to do it, they won't have that option, at least with Britain anymore. But
it's been so long since I looked at it and read up on it, I can't even remember. I'm actually gonna have to look it up.
But I mean, I think since the bigger YouTubers were not bitching and crying about it, I presume it all went nowhere basically, because YouTubers were Sargon and all these sort of guys who are political on YouTube. They were just screaming every frigging minute. Oh no, they're gonna ban memes. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that. They were just frigging yelling and screaming. Sargon went to frigging Europe.
Yeah, but from what I remember of it, it was just more about giving more protection to copyright holders. And the thing is, the conversation.
Again,
the big thing is like I want to actually talk about copyright law and like where the line should be on copyright. Like, I mean, it's someone's property, but how long should it be? Solely in their name for and things like that. Before it's deemed public consumption.
This was actually a conversation I saw because after 75 years, intellectual property rights can actually be free, can actually go out and become...
Not anymore, mate. Well, I mean, I'm talking about American, really. But in America, it's...
Yeah, but no, I mean, even in America, they can, but they don't automatically unless the corporation, the people who own the intellectual property, and this was a conversation that we're having around Batman and Superman. Because when Batman and Superman hit their 75-year mark, technically DC could have allowed them to become an open intellectual property, or they could be they could allow anyone to use those characters to create videos and movies and whatever, but they didn't, obviously, because DC is a corporation, and they, as long as they carry on making, I think, a certain number of movies or products, media using those characters, they can still hold on to them. And the thing is, this is the messed up thing about intellectual property right laws. Sometimes an individual, I create something, I create a cartoon, I create a magazine, and I own all the characters in that comic book. But then if I die, then eventually that music or that creative thing will become free, like classical music. The works of Mozart and Bach and all the rest, they all became free for anyone to take and use because, well, there was no intellectual property right law at the time. But imagine if a corporation had bought all of the works of Mozart, and only that corporation would ever be able to produce a classical piece of music that was by Mozart.
Speaking of which, isn't the birthday song? I need to look that up, man, because the birthday song is literally, when you sing "Happy Birthday," technically it's copyright. Well, it was. I need to check. I need to double check where it is now. But there was this thing recently about it.
I can believe it. I can believe it because, as I said, this is the fucked up thing. Like corporations then go ahead and buy these. Now corporations never die. Corporations never go anywhere. They're going to be running for forevermore. So that means there will never be a time now, at least unless we have some dramatic changes, where certain intellectual property rights will ever become public domain. That's it. That's the word I was looking for. Public domain. Superman, if Superman and Batman became public domain, then loads of other creators would have made and would have taken those characters into some really, really interesting places, instead of just depending on Warner Brothers to produce whatever crap they want to produce in order to make, a cash cow. That's all they see. That's all it is to them. They don't give a shit about Batman. They don't give a shit about Superman as characters, as comic book characters or things that fans really love. No, they just it's a cash cow to them. I can make money from this thing. How do I make money from this thing? So they'll just churn out some bollocks to try to get people in theaters to watch it. And no matter how many times they fail, they don't seem to even realize that, look, the failures that you guys keep coming across repeatedly, those are hints. The fact that nobody goes and watches your shit, and eventually, unfortunately, that's the problem. Eventually, people have to make a stand and say, right, you churn out crap, I will no longer go to the movies and watch it. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Look at Star Wars. Fucking debacle. The last the last trilogy they made, just god awful. I mean, I really tried to watch the Rise of Skywalker a second time. I couldn't get through it.
Yeah.
I couldn't get through it. It was just, I was like, I can't watch this. This is awful. I'm wasting my life trying to watch this crap. I have not been able to watch, apart from the first one, The Force Awakens, I have not been able to watch a single Star Wars film since that one a second time. It has no second viewing value for me. Like, this is the thing, because I watch crappy movies a lot of times. Like a movie called John Carter of Mars. I don't know if you ever came across it. It's like a Disney film that was made a few years back. And it's not a great film. Loads of people criticize it and cut it, and this, critics took the piss out of it. I happen to like that film. I don't know why. I don't know the rhyme or reason around it. I like the idea and the concept around the film, and I like the film. And I've watched it at least 4 or 5 times. I just like it. Other people think it's shit. I like the film. I watched it multiple times. The Justice League, not a particularly good film, to be honest with you. A lot of problems with it. A lot of things went wrong. But I still watch it. And in fact, they're going to release the Snyder Cut fairly recently. And there's a good chance I'm going to watch that too. Again, it's got re-watching value to me. I can watch it more than once and it actually is okay. I can't do it with the Star Wars films. I fall asleep. I passed out. I just passed. I woke up and it was like the film was still playing. I'm like, fuck this film. It's just so bad that it doesn't even hold my attention anymore. The only time that it held my attention was the first time, because I didn't know what was happening. I was just curious to see how I can what's going to happen. And once I got through that film, I was like, fuck this film. This film was shit. What did I do? I just wasted like 90 minutes of my life. I could have cracked one out during that time. So sometimes, letting the creative, this is why I find it really frustrating when I hear people like the woman who was in charge of the Star Wars films constantly shitting on the Star Wars fans because they're saying that this is terrible, and they're like, well, this wasn't made for you, this is made for young children, this wasn't made for some 30-year-old virgin who sits in his bedroom and plays with the Millennium Falcon, this was made for the younger generations. I'm like, listen, you asshole, these people have spent the last 30-40 years devoted to this franchise. They've got there are people who have entire fucking houses made with Star Wars themes around it. They've got collectible items up the wazoo. They are invested in this. This isn't just some passing fad to them. This is a lifelong investment that they've made in this, and you're taking a shit on their love and their joy of their life. Now, to you and me, or to those of us who are not major uber sort of Star Wars fans, maybe fine, we can take it or leave it. I don't particularly cry over The Last Jedi or the Rise of Skywalker. I was like, okay, they fucked it. They took a giant shit on it, wasted my time. I'm never watching it again, and that's it. But to some fans, it hurts them. It like deeply offends them. They are really invested in this shit. They are so deeply invested in the lore that it absolutely hurts them when the film is made so badly. So no, those people care. Those people care. So if you let young up and coming fans actually make movies about Spider-Man, about Superman, about Batman, and make the intellectual property a public domain, you will get probably a whole shitload of really crap Spider-Man or Superman and Batman films, but you will get some very entertaining, very interesting ideas as well. So it will allow the creativity to flourish with these characters. But no, Warner Brothers, now Disney fucking owns everything. Fuck Disney. That's all I have to say. This is a giant fucking evil corporation that has bought every intellectual property that's worth buying, and they I mean, look, I'm not going to say they didn't do okay with the Marvel universe is pretty decent up until now, and it's been, they've had some doozies, but generally they've been pretty good about it. But they've essentially made a 10-year series of movies, like it's a TV show that went across 10 years of multiple movies.
They all go together from literally the Hulk to the whatever the last one was.
Yeah. I mean, mostly from Iron Man, but the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, was kind of involved.
Well, it's just with the way they all go together, they still reference each other, even though the plan back then when they brought the Hulk out wasn't for this, but they still fitted it into the story of it being, meant to be.
They did, they did. They actually, I think they had the captain or colonel or whatever, the colonel that always tries to hunt the Hulk down. They had him at the end credits with Tony Stark. So yeah, they tied it in. They tied it all in. So there was an overarching plan for this. But generally, the whole thing about like the different characters, the fact that Disney doesn't allow any character to be smoking, they don't allow certain things, this or that, because they have to keep everything children friendly or PG-13 or some bullshit like that. I think these characters could have, had some more interesting aspects to them.
I do. If this was like a few years ago, I would say that and that's the way it's going to be. But now with Deadpool kind of putting a wrench into the sort of flow, it will be interesting to see what happens with that. And we're already kind of seeing that as it is.
What, as in they're gonna sort of give them more of an
make
adult
movies more adult
adult friendly or adult themed. I don't know. I mean, I don't see it in any of the previews or any of the sort of up and coming ones, like the Shazam, the Captain Marvel and what's it called, the new.
Well, at the moment, their big money is with the kids, so they're probably going to do it with something. They're probably going to pull out a Marvel character that's obscure and not been referenced or something. They'll find something that's like a beloved sort of non-mainstream TV film character, and then they'll probably do it with that, which is kind of in a way that what they did with Deadpool, because Deadpool wasn't like as big on. He had a TV show, I think, in the 80s, but wasn't as big as the rest.
So Deadpool was always an anti-hero. He wasn't particularly massive. He was around, and they did pull it, but he was mostly in other people's films or cartoons or whatever. And so and they as I said, now with the I'm worried to death that, I mean, admittedly Deadpool 2 wasn't fantastic, it was okay, but generally I figured with Disney taking on Deadpool, they're just gonna destroy it. They're going to turn it into a PG-13 character, and if they do that, they know they're going to tank. So they're going to be caught in this quagmire. But Disney has, anything under a Disney label has a serious set of laws, set of rules that go around it. And so I don't know. Are they going to break those rules? Are they going to start? I mean, it's crazy. I heard recently. I don't know if you've ever known about this, but I heard recently, like you know how you have product placements in movies, cars and beverages and whatever. Well, if you have an Apple product in your movie, you are not allowed to allow a bad guy to use the Apple product. No Apple products.
Yeah, that's standard. Like, mate, there's things that these corporations say what they want in movies and TV shows to happen, and what scenes it's allowed. It's been happening since like day one of product placement.
That is insane.
I got a friend who works in in Hollywood, and he'll be like, yeah, so this beer that's in this episode, they said they only want it in scenes that are family, like warm family moments, happy moments, stuff like that. They don't want like the dad in the show being sad drinking their beer, and stuff like that. These corporations, mate, that ain't new. They've been doing that for fucking day one, mate.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And they get paid a shit ton as well.
What, the corporations get paid for having the movie, or they pay the movie or they sponsor the movie? I thought that the product placements were the corporations pay the movie, or they give money to the film. That's why they get their product placements in the movie. Hello?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Because I know Jackie Chan was sponsored heavily for a long time by Mitsubishi. That's why every Jackie Chan movie for years had a blatant Mitsubishi car with a giant Mitsubishi logo on it. And if you see Armor of God, for example, Armor of God is a classic one where all the baddies have Mitsubishis, and he has a Mitsubishi. They're all the cars are fucking Mitsubishi.
But then again, they also do deals where they don't pay jack shit, but they'll give you a bunch of the stuff to do it.
Maybe, yeah. But I mean, I've seen. I mean,
props and whatnot.
Yeah, I suppose, or facilities that the company has, which you can use. I mean, I know, for example, the American military was asked to participate or to work with the movie Independence Day. And they said they would work with them when it comes to all the sort of scenes for the planes and tanks and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they are not allowed to reference or have anything to do with Area 51. And the movie company had to refuse, or the movie makers, because that was a central part of the movie. That was like a major bit of the movie, is to go to Area 51. So for that reason, the American military didn't work with them. And they had to do all the effects and the plane shots and stuff differently. But generally, they wanted them not to mention Area 51 in the movie. But anyway, I'm sure the military, these gung ho films like Rambo and Top Gun, I'm sure the American military's all over that.
Yeah.
Because these are just commercials, basically.
Kind of in a way for the military, but it also shows, because it is, they like with the British police, they want to show a good friendly face to it all, so they do a lot of community investment and community orientated stuff, and have open days, and that's why you can go up to armed police and be like, can I get a selfie with you? And they're like, yeah, of course. Where in other countries it's like, get the fuck away from me, you tourist. Shit like that.
That is true.
But yeah, the American military are involved in a lot of TV and movie, and they do say what they will and won't be involved in. Yeah. And rumor has it they also have involvement like scripts sometimes, but that's only a rumor.
They have scripts? What you mean? They actually
they'll they'll say to the production company, this is rumor from what I understand, just a rumor, but there's been times when the American military have said we want this changed in the script.
Oh wow! Well, I suppose I mean, it's the same as the Area 51 thing with Independence Day. With other movies, they would probably have certain editorial control, or they'll try to have editorial control if they can. I can see that. Obviously, they want to project themselves in a particular way, and if they're gonna sponsor a movie or be involved with a particular movie, then they'll probably make demands. But then it's the same as Apple, and the fact that nobody can ever use an Apple product in a movie, or beers, or I suppose all of them have these ridiculous rules.
They sure do.
It's crazy though, these guys. But to me, it also highlights the manipulation that we as consumers of these products get, and this is something I'm presuming. I think I'm preaching to the choir as far as my chat and you is concerned, but we all know that they've been propagandizing against us and manipulating us through movies for years. So
it's not like they've kept it from us. They've been pretty
obvious, some of it.
Not even obvious, but they've just come out and outright said it. I mean, it's also at the end credits in the movies that the military was involved, so it's not like it's a big secret.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's not just the fact that military is involved. Even films that the military isn't involved in. For example, someone said to me years ago, every time America is gearing up for a war somewhere, you'll get a Jewish Holocaust movie come up. A World War II Holocaust movie suddenly appears.
I don't know about that. Seems a bit extreme.
I know, but this is like they said, like during the time when I forgot exactly what year Schindler's List came out, but it wasn't that long after or around Iraq War. So this is what I mean. These are like they build it up. They build up that mindset of, remember that war? Remember how terrible it was when innocent people were dying? Now we need to go and save these other people because this evil person is killing them. So now we have to go. This is our sort of like a justification for the war.
It came out in '93, so
93.
First Iraq War was in like
2000.
Yeah.
No. I mean, there was the Iraq War prior to
that.
But
that was 89, 1990. So
that's right.
Yeah. I think conspiracy theory, mate. I think this is just a conspiracy theory.
Possibly. But hold on, let me get Ned on here. Ned. If it is Ned, that is. I want to make sure that's actually Ned. Gotta vet people.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey.
Hello.
Up,
Evening, everybody. Or good afternoon, or whatever it is in Cyprus.
No.
Good morning.
Right, I'm only 2 hours ahead. Oh, actually, it's good morning. Shit, it's 10 to 2 in the morning. Fuck. Oh no, but he's right. Actually, it is morning for me. It's 10 to 2 in the morning. It's still.
Bloody hell.
Well, it's 10 to 12 here. So.
I just wanted to jump in because if you sort of think about a film like Top Gun, if you have the backing of the Air Force, they are going to allow you full access to flight. They're going to give you a $30 million plane to play with. They're going to. And all the pilots are going to be for free. You can use all of the hardware for free. You can probably film on a facility for free. That's a big saving. That's a huge saving. And if you sort of think about a film like Full Metal Jacket, which doesn't show the US military in a good light, they filmed all of that in East London in the docks.
That's right. Yeah.
It's supposed to be Vietnam, and they filmed it in East London, and with no backing, no support.
Anyone who's seen East London that realise why it's practically matters.
Well, it was Docklands. It's when they were sort of clearing all the ground, and they sort of built it there. It was because the director never wanted to leave London, England. He was a bit of a nutter. But no, all of that business. If you think about Sylvester Stallone, you know that movie
the Rambo.
where he's politically correct. He's frozen in time and he comes back.
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man, perfect.
That's
Demolition
a great
Man.
movie.
When he comes to, the first thing he says is, "I need a Marlboro." Right, a cigarette.
Yes.
And apparently he's vehemently anti-smoking, but Marlboro paid an absolute fortune for him to say that line.
Wow.
And as you I mean, I suppose you all automatically know about the Bond movies that whatever the Bond car is with all the gadgets, the company Mercedes or whoever, they pay an absolute fortune.
Why do you think Bond was drinking Heineken in the last movie? It's because they paid a shit ton.
Oh my god!
What the fuck was that about? Like, you just,
what happened to the martini?
Okay, the scene when he's on the beach. The scene where he's on the beach, I get that, and I accept that, because he's on a beach. Like, who the fuck's, like, it was a secluded beach. It's not, who the fuck's making a martini? I'm sorry, but I'm a lazy bastard. I'm having a beer. I'm with Bond on that, on the beach. But, like, when he's in a bar or something, and he's drinking a Heineken, it's like, you son of some bitches.
Yeah.
That's the outrage.
But yeah.
Turn Bond black, don't care. If
Yeah.
I can start making him drinking beer in an inappropriate scene, no. No.
I do remember the Bond film with Pierce Brosnan where he had the Aston Martin, the latest DB8, I think it was, and then the baddie had the Jaguar. I'm sure those car companies paid a fortune for that. But yeah, well, I mean, Bond has to have an Aston Martin, though. I mean, you can't have Bond without an Aston Martin.
It would be interesting to know how far back it goes. It would be interesting to know how far back it goes, because I do know that you probably, neither of you will know what I'm talking about, but there was a series of movies called Carry On movies.
Yeah.
And
I know the
Carry On Camping, Barbara Windsor.
Yeah, I know the Carry. Yeah, I know the Carry On movies.
Watch those movies. Watch those movies and watch. Do you know the guy called Sid James?
Yes.
Watch whenever he opens a cupboard, there will always be vast amounts of one particular product, and that was because he had some kind of deal. I don't know quite how it worked, but it was product placement. He wasn't supposed to do it. Apparently it was all under the table. It wasn't official, but it was part of his contract that he could actually have like a little side thing where he'll open a cabinet and there'll be just like 40 bottles of a particular whiskey, and it's because he was paid directly for that whiskey to be there.
He had a side hustle in the movie.
Side hustle. I don't know quite how this worked. I don't know whether the studio was onto it, but it must have been. I guess.
Crazy.
But you actually, if you ever watch a Carry On movie, and you just watch out for that, because he had this deal, and I don't know how far it went, because those films go back to the 1940s.
Yeah. Wow. So I suppose product placement has been with us from day one.
I know in America it's pretty much been kind of since day one. Now when I say day one, I mean the day one of like big corporate movie industry takeover. Yeah. That's when it massively happened. And I know that the Top Gun movies, they've been involved since the 80s, because the original one also had quite a heavily involvement with
well, do you know, that was so heavily involved, they actually had recruitment sergeants in the cinemas.
That's right, they did.
After the film.
Wow.
And they were incredibly successful, because people would come barreling out of these movies and they'd sign up.
Yeah, because they're all excited. They all want to be Top Gun.
I want my plane.
I actually heard the fighter pilots in those movies were actually Israeli fighter pilots. The ones who
they are the best in the world.
Yeah, they were the ones doing the flying. But yeah, I can imagine people coming out of a movie like Starship Troopers or Rambo feeling all gung ho. and you know, pumped up. People were coming out of friggin' Rocky wanting to box everyone. So,
oh, there's a couple of movies. Isn't there a couple of movies that you come out and you want to put, you know, you want to take on the world? I mean, and the movie that does it for me is Mississippi Burning. I don't know whether you've ever seen that. It's about about sort of civil rights, and it makes you so angry that well, it makes me so angry. You sort of come out and you want to sort of punch holes in boxes, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean. Yeah, Mississippi Burning is a good one, but I never saw that in the cinema. I saw that in on TV, on video.
You know, going back to what you were saying about you know, the political correctness in movies. I mean, in some ways, I think it's a bit of a trope. I think it's been overplayed. But I mean, I know with Ghostbusters, it's bloody disastrous. But if you sort of think about the very first Alien, Sigourney Weaver is really, really good, and she just happens to be a woman. And she's really bloody good in that movie, and you can believe that she defeats the alien, but it just so happens that she's a woman. Whereas now it actually seems that somebody has been intentionally placed in a Star Wars movie because of their gender. You start getting a you know, like a woman admiral sort of throwing her weight around and sort of muscling on people, and you sort of get the fuck out of here. You know, I mean, you know.
But this is exactly my problem. Is not that there aren't strong female, you know, protagonists in movies. There's always been amazing, not just Ripley in Aliens, Sarah Connor in the Terminator movies, or Gina Davis in The Long Kiss Goodnight. That's
an amazing movie.
It is. These are women who kick ass, properly kick ass, but also they are vulnerable too. They not only kick ass, but they get their asses kicked. Sarah Connor, you know, at the end of that film, is battered to shit. So is Ripley. Ripley is, you know, in the first one, she's scared to death the whole time. She's not this like superhuman. That's the part that is relatable. Is that they're kicking ass, but they're also vulnerable. They're also relatable.
Well, the thing is that you watch it and it's running through your mind. She can't possibly survive this, can she? And, you know, you actually think, no, she's not gonna get through this. This is gonna be a bad ending, you know.
Yeah, but because you actually have, you know, you can relate, and you can.
Because the movie's good.
Yeah,
it's
but
been
also the
written
movie.
Well. That's the problem with Ghostbusters. It wasn't just the fact that it had a political agenda, but it was just terrible writing as well.
Exactly.
That was the bigger problem, to be honest.
I mean, the Ghostbusters one was like on 10 different levels terrible. But I'm talking about movies like the modern Charlie's Angel, the Harley Quinn film, the Star Wars films, all of these sort of
they're quick cash grabs, aren't they? And they're just like, oh, we'll stick a woman in there because, you know, it'll appease the masses.
Yeah, we'll appease the feminists. We won't get any Twitter hate.
We'll tick all the boxes.
Exactly.
Tick all the boxes.
They're trying to tick woke boxes.
But the important one is, did we get money?
Of course, that's number one.
But what about Joker? What about Joker? The thing is, there's an interesting one because that goes entirely against everything that we're talking about here.
Yes.
And yet it did incredibly well, and I believe it won some awards, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. I think didn't it win an Oscar? I thought the Joker.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah, I think it did.
But the thing is, the Joker was done in spite of the woke sort of media. So the woke media actually started to talk about how the police should watch young white men after watching Joker because they're going to go out and start shooting people. People were starting to worry about white young men going around and shooting people because of the Joker. The media actually started to knock the Joker. It wasn't the media that made the Joker successful. It was the audience. It was the average
but wasn't
people.
Wasn't that the movie with Rotten Tomatoes where the critics were actually giving it a score of something like 33%, and the audience score was something like 92%? It was like there was this this massive discrepancy between the sort of left-wing critics and just the the moviegoers themselves.
Yeah, it was Rotten Tomatoes marking. I'm just looking it up now for the Joker. It was I think it was like, it wasn't like 30. It was like what's it called? Hold on. It was like 50, 60. There you go. Here we go. The Rotten Tomatoes. Admittedly, this is now the final one, if you like. It fluctuated in those early days, but in those early sort of months, it was. Oh, you son of a bitch! It's got this stupid thing in front of my fucking. It was 68% for the critics and 88%. Actually, it was in the 90s initially for the audience.
Yes, it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
I think it was the high 90s as well, actually.
I think eventually it sort of, it went up and down, and then eventually sort of equalized. But it's settled at 68 to 88, and anyone who watches that film absolutely considers that film to be an amazing. I mean, it takes superhero movies into an entirely different genre. Like it just transforms it to something that superhero movies would not even be considered in that sort of drama, that serious sort of level, because they've always been tongue-in-cheek. Now, unfortunately, with tongue-in-cheek, you get things like Batman and Robin, which is just ridiculous. So that went too far tongue-in-cheek.
As camp as Christmas.
That was just god-awful. But you can, there is a
it's like the art. It's like the directors sort of thought, what if we made the Joker true to life, as true to life as we possibly could?
Yeah, they really went down that
What would that
road.
mean?
Yeah, because the Nolan films kind of did do a little bit of that as well. They took Batman more seriously than even the Burt. What was it? Burt. Oh man, I forgot his name. The guy who did the movies back in the 80s. He did the Batman one.
Yeah, I know the bloke you mean. He's got like a bit of a sort of
Gothic
mousy face.
Yeah, he's a very gothy kind of guy. Tim Burton versions of Batman. He took it out of the campiness of the TV
1960s.
shows. The pow and kapow and all that. So he took it out of that and made it a little bit more dark, a little bit more serious, but it still had a campy element to it. He still was a bit tongue-in-cheek. But the Nolan's sort of rendition of Batman were far more grounded, far more serious. And of course, with the Dark Knight, it became, again, the Joker character and the way Heath Ledger portrayed it, it just took it to another level. And I think the Joker character is actually a far more interesting character than Batman. And that's why they've done, these sort of different, just totally different ways of creating the Joker. Whilst Batman, heroes are not as interesting as villains.
Well, you see, I dispute that, because it's interesting. The devil always has the best tunes. The devil always has the best tunes.
Yes.
And so we're always drawn towards serial killers, are we not? I mean, the thing is it because we can't fathom them, because we can't work them out. Evil, we're drawn to it because we can't understand it. That's my theory anyway. But but the thing is, I think that Nolan actually made Batman evil in some ways. He wasn't a nice. There was something not right about that. Something of the night about that man.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. I think he kind of, again, he wanted to portray Batman as a more complex character than just good or evil. And this is why Superman is such a difficult character to work with. This is why Superman movies are sort of, I mean, the Christopher Reeves era was brilliant, because Superman was a very light, very hopeful, glasses half full kind of a character, and the Christopher Reeves character was exactly that. This, truth,
just American apple pie.
Exactly, truth, justice, and the American way kind of thing. And then, unfortunately, with the Man of Steel, admittedly, there was that god-awful one, Superman Returns, which didn't actually do anything. I don't know why. It was just terrible. But the one with the Man of Steel, they tried to put the Nolan effect on Superman, and they and then they wondered why people were complaining that Superman is just this miserable guy all the time, because Superman isn't that, he's actually much more black and white. He's a very simple, just wholesome apple pie character, and he's well overpowered anyway. I mean, literally, there will be no villain that could actually do anything to Superman. 99% of the time, he would kill him in like a second.
Yeah, and so what can you do with that? Where do you go with that?
Exactly.
Where do you go with it?
That's what I mean. That's why he's boring. He's not really an interesting character. He's just this very two-dimensional, good and versus evil type of a thing. I mean, they did try to encourage the Jesus allegory in the Man of Steel, but generally, Superman is a boring character. Superman is just...
Well, except, do you know, in 79, when that, I think it was 79, when that first came out, it was the first time that they were just getting their handle on CGI, I think, and special effects, that they actually made the man fly without being able to see the wires, and it really did seem that it was true to life. So when you first saw it at that time, it was absolutely spectacular, and I think that's one of the reasons why Star Wars was so successful at the same time, because it was the first time that they were able to make CGI workable, believable
graphics, special effects that weren't CGI. The CGI.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Special effect. I do apologise. The thing is, though, but I think that over the years we've just got that's just a special effect. They've done that on a computer, Industrial Light and Magic, and it's lost its magic in the way that it when it first came out. So I think that was the draw of Superman when it first came out.
Yeah. I mean, I as I said, Christopher Reeve's Superman, I think, for most people who remember it and watched it when they were children, for me, no other Superman comes even close. For me, that is Superman. Christopher Reeves is Superman. I can't even imagine the other ones. Don't get me wrong, I like Cavill. He did a good job, but that's the only Superman that's ever going to be stamped in my psyche. But that's just because I grew up with that Superman. But obviously younger people are going to have a very different view of that. But what I'm saying is, generally, as far as like complex characters that you can actually make, and you can transcend different genre, rather than this good this superhero genre of beat up the bad guy and kapow and pow and slam and that sort of, if something like the Joker has literally transcended that genre. It is you can no longer say the Joker is only going to be in a superhero movie. You can make a dark drama with the character of the Joker that has nothing to do with superheroes and supervillains or any of that, and it can work. But I don't think you can do that with Superman. Superman is always going to be the kapow pow. He's going to have a supervillain, and it's just. But that's fine. Superman is not meant to be some dark, brooding, moody character. Superman is supposed to project hope and a hopeful,
goodness and American values and truth.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be
truth, justice, and the American way.
Well,
exactly, apple pie.
It really is the epitome of
Which is British,
1950s America, isn't it? The epitome of 1950s America.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Superman was created for that exact thing, for that. Just like Captain America. Captain America was created for the propaganda of the war, to show America and its wonderful greatness and all that jazz. And I always hated Captain America. I thought Captain America was the most boring superhero character ever created. It was mind-numbingly boring. If you look at the early sort of Captain America attempts at movies and cartoons, they were the worst. They were the worst, absolutely worst. For me, Spider-Man, as far as Marvel was concerned, was the only character that was wonderful and interesting. I didn't like Iron Man. I didn't like Captain America. I didn't really care about the Fantastic Four. None of those characters actually did anything as far as entertainment or just thought-provoking. Spider-Man I liked because I was a young kid and it connected with me as a young child, and it was like this young lad who's just discovered some. It was almost like, I mean, Spider-Man is effectively an allegory for puberty. That's what most of them are, really. They're just allegories for puberty.
Well, you think his web? You think his web is spunk? Do you think he's swinging from building to building on really strong semen?
Well, you never know.
All I'm saying is they're just allegories.
All these buildings down, you know, Grand Central Avenue, you know, all covered in
just jizzed up. They're all covered in jizz. Just this young teenager just going around.
Just poor bloody cleaner said, "Oh fucking hell, Spider-Man's been here again!
Fucking Spider-Man!" How many times will I have to clean these windows?
Damn you, Spider-Man! No.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, because that's what it is. Like, you know, Superman is an allegory for Jesus, and Spider-Man is an allegory for you know.
Hold it. Excuse. Whoa. So stop there. Right? Wait. How on earth is Superman an allegory for Jesus?
Are you kidding me? You don't see the Jesus parallels of Superman?
Good. Walk me through it. I am a simple man.
His father sends him to Earth to save mankind.
Oh.
He has powers beyond belief.
Yeah.
I believe.
Anyway, guys, I'm gonna have to leave you to it.
I'm sorry.
No worries, Kettle.
Sorry.
Okay. I hope I didn't drive you off.
You too, mate.
Oh no, not at all, mate. It's I've got a busy day tomorrow.
All this talk of jizz, I'm sorry if it if it drove you away.
No, not at all.
No worries,
I do have to get up. It is like already 2:15 in the morning.
Yeah, it's late for you. It's actually 12:15 here as well, so it's getting on. But thanks for coming, dude. It's been a pleasure.
No
as
worries.
Always.
Take care.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Have a good sleep.
It's amazing how people get invested in the law. I know you probably want to sort of wrap up in a second, but it's amazing how people get wrapped up in all the law. I mean, and they get, you know, like with Star Wars, you know, Shoe-on Head, and her boyfriend. I can't remember the name of Shoe-on Head's boyfriend.
Skeptic, something. Armored Skeptic.
Armored Skeptic. Yes. Yeah. He made a few reviews of, and he nearly broke a chair during one of these reviews. He was so furious with this, and he started talking about the law of Star Wars, and I suddenly realised that there was this religion, that there are people out there, especially in America and Canada, it seems, that have invested completely in these storylines, and they know them to enormously deep details. And if suddenly Disney makes a new movie and it cuts through all of the existing law, it's like the worst thing in the whole world. It's like, no, I mean, it seriously is.
Well, it is for these people because they are so invested. I mean, I'm talking people from the original Star Wars who are in their 40s and 50s, or probably older now, have devoted their life to this thing. You know, they are really invested. I don't think these money men, these producers and directors and whatever, the corporate people who run these franchises, some of them I don't think they recognize. I think George Lucas does, because Lucas grew up with this whole thing. You know what I mean? His entire life has been invested in Star Wars, so he can understand how the fans take this thing seriously, but not Disney. Disney just sees this as just an intellectual property which they can just milk.
That they've invested heavily in, and they want a big return on it.
Yeah.
That's their bottom line.
They gave Lucas $4 billion.
Oh, Jesus! Did they really?
Yes.
That's a lot of money, isn't it? And it's not like he didn't already have like great big pots of bucket loads of money beforehand.
But there's a bit more bucket there. There's another bigger bucket.
Do you know when they do these films like Star Trek or Star Wars or any of these Harry Potter, any of that stuff, people turn up in all the costumes, cosplay. No, but you'll get lines and lines of people. Not on the opening night, but a week after, 2 weeks after.
Oh yeah.
You'll see a whole line of Spocks all queuing up for the Star Trek.
Yeah. But it's not just that. You see, the money that these corporations or films like Star Wars used to make wasn't just on the fact that people would go and watch them once. They actually would make a tremendous amount of money on re-watching. Like a single geek would watch the same film 4 times.
Easily. Yeah, just 4. I mean, far more than 4.
Yeah, depending on the quality. But what I mean is, that's what actually bumped up these movies' final sort of, if you like, income, or the final figure of how much they made, is because it wasn't just new people going and watching them for the first time. It was the same geeks who are so invested would watch them multiple times. And this is why I was saying to Jay about how I can't, and I never paid a penny for a single Star Wars film that has been made under Disney. I have found them in other ways, shall we say. I just don't want to say anything on YouTube, but I have never put a penny in the pocket of Disney for these movies, and yet I still can't bring myself to watch the Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker more than once. I tried. I'm not even joking. The other I think it was last week. I was like, okay, I'll watch this one again. It's been a while since I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker. Let's just go over it again. I got like 10 minutes into the film. I think I passed out at one point. And then I woke up and the film was still running and it was still god awful. So I just switched it off halfway in the middle, I think it was.
Well, if you sort of think about it, if you're on the writing team putting together the script for this, I mean, where the hell do you go? I mean, if there's already been 10 bloody movies, where do you go for episode 11?
Yeah, but
I mean, what do we do now?
Well, this is the thing. If you're that much of a geek and you go into the lore of Star Wars, and I've come across YouTube channels that are uber geeks. I myself don't invest that much time, but even the amount of time that I have spent would probably consider me a geek in Star Wars. But I have seen that, because there's a whole host of books that were written that weren't official canons of Star Wars. They were written with the Star Wars within the Star Wars universe, but nothing to do with George Lucas. George Lucas didn't make a penny out of them. Neither will Disney. And the Disney Corporation has now announced that any movie that isn't made, or any product that isn't made by Disney, as far as Star Wars is concerned, is not canon to the Star Wars lore. So anything outside of their control is not considered canon. Whilst people have gone and they've taken what George Lucas created and have gone to the next level with it and have done some interesting stuff. They've gone to very unique and interesting places with these characters and within that universe.
Well, they've written sort of storylines online and posted them on Reddit or whatever.
Not just online, because Star Wars has been going for 30 odd years, since the 70s. So there are actual books that have been written within the Star Wars universe, and we've got books and we've got fan films. There's a ton of fan films.
Films,
yeah, like
not those awful sort of 15-minute things, are they?
Well, there are some which are like lightsaber fights, but there are actual mini movies as well. Like there's one about Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's one called Kenobi that's been made. That's really interesting. It takes Kenobi into a very different direction, and they are thinking about making an actual Obi-Wan Kenobi film, actual Disney one, but since Solo was such a disaster, that they're now, I think, rethinking all that.
They're not doing spin-offs.
Yeah, they're rethinking the spin-offs because people are boycotting the spin-offs because the Solo one was really bad. But Kenobi was earmarked to be a spin-off of the Kenobi sort of saga. But generally, people have made books, written books, and made little fan films, all sorts of different things about characters that you wouldn't have even heard of. Some of them totally new characters, but within the Star Wars universe.
Yes, yeah. Lore. Yeah, within the lore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's still coherent within the Star Wars lore and universe, but they are not the characters that we know of the Skywalker saga, if they're like a whole different new saga of a new character. Now, Star Wars could have done that. Star Wars could have gone another direction. The Disney, could have done that. They could have kickstarted an entire new saga, but within that universe. But they chose to go the way they did, and they wanted to end effectively the Skywalker saga, and that's kind of what they did. They ended anything affiliated to Skywalker, but in all honesty, they didn't have to. They didn't have to end anything to do with the Skywalker saga. They could have just left the Skywalker saga as it was, in episode 6, I guess, when Luke defeated the Empire and Darth Vader died. They could have just left it there, and they could have started a whole new adventure with new characters, new everything. But they didn't, or they didn't want to take the risk because they wanted to bring in the Star Wars fans. They wanted to just cash in on the X-Wings, a character that kind of looks like Darth Vader, but it's not, and a protagonist that's a woman, so they can fit the woke quota. And ultimately, what they want to do is sell fucking toys. That's what Star Wars is all about. It's toys.
Well, it's so many. It's interesting. Do you know Lucas, George Lucas, when he made the original, the very first one, he said, "I want full merchandising. Like he actually took the merchandising. That was part of the deal.
He waived. I think he waived his own fee."
And they didn't realize
for the merchandising rights,
and they didn't realize that they were giving away the main
goose.
prize.
They
were giving away the main prize. And he made an absolute fortune out of that.
I think that's what I mean. That's what I remember. He forgoed any of the box office fees, box office money. He gave up some stuff. He said, I don't want the box office money. I don't want, I think his own like fee or something about his own money. But he wanted full control of merchandising rights of Star Wars. And then the merchandising just became insane. And now that's the thing. Now Disney, all they really give a shit about is, can we sell a toy? That's why they introduce these fuzzy little fluffy characters in every film. If you notice, in every film there's a new character introduced because they have to sell it. They want to sell new toys.
Oh yes, absolutely. But you were saying about that they seem to have become a bit hidebound, a bit sort of tied up. If you think about it, the next time that they make a Star Wars movie, it's going to make a ridiculous amount of money. It's going to cost a ridiculous amount of money. It's going to, it's going to be filmed all over the world, right? The advertising budget will probably run to like $70 or $100 million, right? It's a massive, great, big super tanker of a film, and so if you want to do anything with that, there's going to be 20 or 30 executives that are all going to want their finger in the pie. They're all going to want their say. They're all going to want their name on the credits, right? It's impossible to make anything of any worth when you've got that kind of infrastructure, because any decision you make there's going to be about 30 people that are going to have their say on it, and there's going to be about 5 of that 30 that are going to say, well, I don't really think that's a good idea.
Unfortunately, there is that pressure to make cash, but the fact is that somebody has to sit down and point to Solo, point to the box office disappointment of The Last Jedi and the toy sales of Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, and start to take these executives through the fact that if you make shitty Star Wars films, Star Wars fans are going to boycott you. They're going to boycott the movie. And so if you want to make money, you have to deliver to the Star Wars fans, and that's your chance, that's your shot. So if you don't deliver for Star Wars fans, then what are you making this movie for?
I would be interested to find out what the Star Wars takings are like, because I suspect that even though the die-hard traditionalists would actually sort of say, this is terrible, I boycott this movie, that's the last Star Wars movie I ever go and see, there'll be so many little kids that will just go along and love every minute of it, and there'll be so many sort of woke people that will go along and they'll actually love every blooming minute of it. And I bet you, if you look at the Star Wars box office, since it's probably, there may be a slight dint, but I wonder whether it's actually been a disaster.
No, it's been a they've actually made losses.
Have they?
Yeah. The Solo one, in fact, didn't even make the money it took to make the film. It didn't take the money. Yeah. Solo lost a lot. Rogue One did okay, because that was right after the what's it called, the Force Awakens. The Force Awakens did okay. This is the most recent Star Wars films, Disney Star Wars films, not pre-Disney, but Disney.
The Force Awakens, 2 billion. That took 2 billion. Star Wars: The Last Jedi took 1.3 billion, and as you say, The Rise of Skywalker, that's taken just That's taken 1 billion. So it's well under. It's taken half the money.
And what was Rise of Skywalker?
1.3. A big drop, as you say. A big.
There you go. Yeah. There was a steady drop, and also Solo. Let me see. It says, where is it? Solo. Damn it, I don't have. Here we go. Solo is tracking to open between 130 million to 150 million during its Memorial Day weekend, but it costs like it costs a lot more than 150 million to make the movie, and by the way, that's the price of making the movie versus
promoting the movie. The world tour.
Exactly, the promotion is as much as making the movie itself sometimes.
Easily.
And so a movie that's cost, let's say, 200 million to make, has to make about 500 million to actually be considered profitable.
To break even.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, not even just break even, but to actually be considered a little bit profitable as well. But for a Star Wars movie, they usually estimate about 1 billion. They really expect about 1 billion for every Star Wars movie, because it's Star Wars. It's a massive franchise. But when they don't do it, that's what I mean. That's why they get crushed. And I'm hoping that these disappointments will start to get them. I mean, right now it's already happened anyway. I'm looking at these different films. The Force Awakens, Solo. Where the hell is Solo? Doesn't Star Wars, Force Awakens. But yeah, the guy who's in charge of Disney, he is slowly taking away the power that Kellyanne Kennedy, or whatever her name is, the woman who's in charge of like making the Star Wars films for Disney, because there's this woman who worked as an assistant or something with Lucas and with what's his name, the guy who made Jaws, Spielberg, yeah, Steven Spielberg. So she worked with them back in those days, and that's why they gave her the reins for these Disney Star Wars sort of movies.
And did they become woke because of her input?
Well, it wasn't that they become woke. She took over, and then she started to promote her woke agenda through the Star Wars movies. She started to, push her personal agenda through these movies, and that's it. That's when she took, Star Wars in the woke route, down the woke route, and just started, producing these crap and then every time it wouldn't do well, the internet effectively would start criticizing it, she'd just say, "Oh, these are old Star Wars fans who are just misogynists," and start shitting on the fans. They just started shitting on the fans, and they wonder why Star Wars movies are not doing well when you're shitting on the very people you want them to go to spend money on. It's like, I'm going to call you a misogynist dickwad who sits at home and jacks off in your mother's basement, but at the same time beg you to go and watch our movie, please.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you see. I wonder whether women have become quite rightly. They've become more powerful figures in society, and they have. I think that this wokeness. I may be wrong here, but I suspect that a lot of this wokeness is a manifestation of female sensibilities. And I may be wrong. I may be talking complete bollocks, but I just wonder whether what we're watching now is feminized movies, that like the feminization of Star Wars. Do you tell me I'm talking crap if you think so? I'm just I'm spitballing. You know what I mean?
The thing is, these are the manifestations of the feminine mind or the feminine eye upon these things. Now it's everything. It's not just movies, but women have a different perspective. Yeah. Women have a different perspective. They are much more risk averse. They have different. They look at the world with different eyes than a man does. Yeah. And so when a movie like Star Wars, because Star Wars is what's considered to be a space cowboy film. It's a western.
Shoot 'em up.
Exactly.
Shoot 'em up.
It's a space western. That's exactly what it is. It's like Shane. It's like A Fistful of Dollars, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That's what Star Wars is. Those movies.
It's like if a woman made Star Wars, this is what it would look like.
Well, if a woman made The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, how would that look? If a woman made The Fistful of Dollars, if a woman made Pale Rider or Shane, how would those movies look? They would look like fucking, The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi or friggin' what's it called? The Rise of Skywalker. That's what. If a woman was in charge of westerns would look like shit, and none of these classic movies would ever emerge that we consider to be classic. Now, people don't make westerns anymore because westerns are considered kind of old school, and there isn't many westerns happening.
People just got bored with them, and didn't they get tired and stuff like that?
Well, at the moment, there's no one who's managed to come up with a very creative take on the western genre. So,
Unforgiven is a fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
One of the best movies ever. Anyway,
exactly.
Sorry.
But you're right. But think about it this way. Here's actually an example of a feminist western. There's a movie called The Quick and the Dead with Sharon Stone as the lead female role in a western. It's actually got some amazing actors in it. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio, Sharon Stone, and it's actually got oh my god, one of the all-time great actors.
Jack Palance.
No. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring it up. The Quick and the Dead. It's got damn it. Come on. Gene Hackman.
Oh my god, yes, great.
Oh my god, it's not only got, look at this is the lineup. This is the lineup for this god-awful film.
Russell Crowe.
Yes. It's got Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe, Leonardo DiCaprio. These are just the four lineups.
These are good people.
These are amazing actors. Every one of them are very good actors. Kevin Conway, Roberts Blossom. I don't know those guys. But generally, Keith David, the black guy. Lance Henriksen. Actually, I know that guy. I know the name, but I can't point him at, tell you exactly which films he's been in. But if you just look at the first four down the list, brilliant actors, every one of them Oscar winners, just great actors, and yet the film is a freaking disaster. It's an awful movie. Unfortunately, don't get me wrong, it's not as bad as the Star Wars films. I can watch it more than once. I think I've seen it at least twice, but it's still an awful cowboy movie. It was slated by the critics And generally, when you watch it, you realize, it's not even close to the pedigree of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, or Pale Rider, or all
Unforgiven.
Unforgiven. Oh yeah, Unforgiven. Unforgiven is a modern cowboy film, but it is as good as those spaghetti westerns that they made back in the day. It's an amazing
and it has a
film.
really hard lesson in it. It's hard. You know what I mean? It's nothing good comes from violence in that movie.
Exactly. You live
And
by
you
the sword,
see
you
it,
die by the sword, kind of a message. But generally, and also vengeance has got messages about vengeance and the problems with that. But what I'm saying is there's an example for you of a cowboy movie that was made with a female eye, effectively, and it didn't turn out good. I'm sorry,
and I think that's what's happening with culture. I mean, I think that's and I think that's because women, quite rightly, have sort of taken their place in society, whereas in the past they wouldn't have any say. This would all be the doings of men. This would all be done by men. But the result of this is that we're seeing stuff which. The reason why the Joker stands out so much is because it's such an unusual movie. Whereas I wonder 20 or 30 years ago whether that would have been such an unusual movie.
I don't know if anyone 20, 30 years ago would have looked at superhero movies in this way. To make that kind of a Joker movie, because superhero movies were considered to be. They were not considered serious films.
No. Well, I think what I'm meaning is the hard edge. It actually has an unblinking eye. It looks directly into the sun. It has a hard lesson. But what I mean is cruel and it's hard.
I think it required a certain development in movies and also in culture, because nowadays superhero films are so prevalent in our cinematic viewing that we don't think twice about like watching epic superhero movies. But you got to think about it. If you go back to the 80s and the 70s, Superman was a one-off. Batman was like, again, a sort of
an event.
An event, yeah. It wasn't these movies were not coming out, once a year. Well, now we get like two or three. Well, I mean, not this year, but up until this year,
right, one a year.
Well, we were getting 2 or 3 a year. We were getting one from Marvel, one from DC.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
You got to realize if we're talking about a movie, whether it's Superman, whether it's Batman, whether it's Spider-Man, whether it's the Avengers, they're all superhero films. These are all comic book movies. X-Men. We were getting at least 2 or 3 superhero films a year. Minimum.
Captain America, all
every
of those.
One of them. Yeah. Every one of them is comic book movies. Go
Iron
back to the
Man,
90s and point how many superhero films they made in the 90s. How many did they make in the 80s? Barely. I mean, they made 2. Tim Burton made 2.
I mean, they didn't have the technology. I mean, do bear in mind they just didn't have the technology.
It's true, but it's not just. They had the technology to make Batman, the Tim Burton Batman. They had the technology to make the Christopher Reeves Superman. So they could have absolutely made more of these things, but it wasn't the movie industry and also the society. We're not prepared to sit and watch these kiddie films, effectively, what they considered kiddie films. Now, these are considered mature entertainment. Back then, apart from Tim Burton's Batman, that was like one of the first where adults would be like, oh, this is an adult superhero film. Even though Batman, somebody pointed out, Batman isn't strictly a superhero, but he is considered in the superhero genre or the comic book genre. He's a comic book.
But here's the thing: aren't we sort of grown-up kids? If our parents were to see what we get up to now, I mean, leaving aside Pornhub, if our parents were to see what we're doing now, right, they would probably be sort of mildly disgusted, because don't we sort of play computer games, and isn't that something that children did?
Well,
and that we wouldn't. I mean, I think my father would probably look at. I don't know whether this is just me, but I think my father would look upon me playing games as being
childish.
Like childish, yeah. It's something that a grown man doesn't do.
Well, there has been a systematic infantilization of adults for a long time now. There's my friend said to me, and because we were the same age years ago, she said, we're the Peter Pan generation. We don't want to grow up. We're just constantly, trying to think that we can live forever and we can just be kids forever.
But we don't have to. That's the thing. We don't have to now because there's so much for us.
Well, yeah.
There's so many games and films and outlets for us to remain kids.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. So we are Peter Pan generation. We don't. And it's not only that we don't want to. We don't have to grow up because we still can carry all our childhood entertainment right into adulthood and beyond. Admittedly, sure, video games have grown and have changed as an entertainment genre, so they are far more adult, relatable to adults. I mean, I can play games, video games, which are just as involved, and the stories are just as cinematic as a movie. So
you said something that was really, really interesting about a couple of days ago. I mean, I think this sounds creepy me saying that, but don't be worried. But the thing is what you said something about that people get much more invested in games than they do in films, and I think it's actually true because you can actually live a game. If you're playing something like Fallout, you can put in 1,000 hours very easily.
This was in regards to the Last of Us.
Yes,
because they went ahead and dramatically changed the second part to the Last of Us, and they killed the protagonist. Sorry, Banksy, but
listen, I think you're wrong. I think that was true to the format. I think that what they did with that killing that bloke is so true to that format. That game is so brutal. It
is, but he didn't die in a heroic sense. They didn't send him off heroically. They actually killed him off quite. It was a pointless death, and it was a very it wasn't. I mean, I haven't actually played the game, but I've seen the segments, and it seemed as if it was just done for the sake of getting him out of the game.
No, not in. Look, listen, I would agree that there are other games where that happens, and I'd say you're absolutely right. With that particular game, I don't know whether you're familiar with the first version of the last.
I've got it here.
The Last of Us. But what happens is that this young girl, he takes this young girl across America.
Yeah.
Because she's the only. Sorry, you know this, but she's the only person. She maybe have the cure to this plague, right? And they basically she grows up as they travel across America, and when they get there, it turns out that the people that he thinks gonna sort of save everything, they intend to kill her to get the antidote, to get the vaccine. They're going to kill her to get the vaccine.
Well, they have to kill her to get to try to extract the something from her bone marrow. But the thing is, they've done it to other people, and they've all been unsuccessful as well. So,
so
they are not even sure they're going to be able to make a cure out of her either. But they were going to kill her anyway.
So he wipes them out.
Yeah.
And he wipes them all out. And the thing is that him dying at the start of The Last of Us Part 2, I think that it's done in a way which is absolutely true to the ethos of that particular game. I think it's true to the game. I'm not happy with it, but I just think it's such a nice touch because they go to such lengths to he gives her a guitar at the front. He shows her, I'm going to show you how to play the guitar, and she learns how to play the guitar, and then she kills him. It's so true to the format.
Possibly. I mean, I haven't actually. I mean, I have played The Last of Us Part 1 now because I actually wanted to get through it and find out.
Oh, sorry, have I given you spoilers?
No. I've seen both the actual cinematic clips of both, but I actually played the first one because I don't have a PlayStation 4. I only have a PlayStation 3, so I can't actually play the second one unless I go
Right.
and buy a PlayStation 4. Which, to be honest with you, I don't play games enough anymore to care.
Right.
I rather invest in other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I finished the first one, and I've had it for years. I just never bothered finishing it off. So I finished the first one, and yeah, I get what you mean about the ending and all the shit you have to go through to get there. And so she saves his life, he saves her life, and maybe that's his journey over. And that was his sort of, in the second one, it was really a time, I guess, for him to pass the mantle to her, and maybe that's what they did.
Yeah, but more than that, it's like life is a
bitch.
swine. Life is a horrible thing. Can be and it just keeps dealing you one nasty turn after another, and it just gets that, and
maybe. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it just felt when I saw, and because I haven't played the game, but I have seen the cinematic sort of movie cuts, the movie bits that they do, and it just didn't seem like it was the ending or the send off. It didn't seem like a send off. But then you're right. It's the genre is just, you could die at any time. You're constantly living with
on the edge.
On the edge, yeah. So any sort of scenario, sequence of events could wind up with you being dead, and that's the world that they're living in. So maybe. But I mean, I think a lot of people.
It's probably a bit unhealthy, me having that kind of a fixation on that game. But it's quite interesting. I mean, when you were talking about the sort of superhero movies, I can actually see a lot of people. They don't work for me. And all the lore, all the Star Wars and the Star Trek and the superheroes, that all that lore, it just leaves me cold. But I can understand it, because I'm pretty much the same about some sort of games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Computer games.
Well, this is, I suppose, yeah. I guess that's your. I guess you're more into the computer games than the movies, but you can at least empathize with the kind of time.
Oh
effort,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, people put into these things, and so when someone comes and just takes a giant dump on something that you've invested years in, it is disappointing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I found it disappointing in the same way when I like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, I put in several years of serious investment in that TV show, of watching it, and the ending was so disappointing that it was like fuck you bastards. For the last 5 years I followed your shitty show, and now you're just gonna give me this crappy send off. So it wasn't even, it was more than 4 or 5 years. Like the Walking Dead. Now, in all honesty, I'm happier with The Walking Dead than I am with Game of Thrones, because I've started to just walk away from The Walking Dead. I just stopped watching it, although I've spent 7-8 years, I think.
Doesn't it run out of puff, though? Doesn't it run out of puff?
Well, that's what's happened for me for The Walking Dead, is that it sort of just ran out of steam. And once Rick, for those of you, spoiler warning, for those of you who don't follow The Walking Dead, but Rick and Carl and basically the Grimes family started to die out, and Rick just virtually is now gone. So there is no longer the Grimes that I'm following. He was the protagonist that I followed. He was the one that I related to throughout. So I watched, if you like, The Walking Dead through Rick Grimes's eyes. He is no longer there. As far as I'm concerned, I'm no longer there. I've lost interest because of that.
Do you know Ricky Gervais, when he's talking about The Office, and he said, I think they made three series, 2.5 series. It was very, 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 very short. And he said he was asked to compare American The Office with British Office. He said, look, what you got to understand is that it's a different world over in America. He said we made I don't know 20 episodes over 2.5 years. He said the Americans, they've made like 107 episodes, and he said, and they've had teams of like 10 or 20 writers churning out these episodes over time. They're money making. They become like money making machines.
Yeah, exactly. They're like they commercialize things to the upteenth and squeeze every last drop of milk from that cow that they can, in order to just to
maximize. Just get the last dime out of it.
Yeah, and that's what happened. People started to walk away from The Office, the American one. Yeah. People, as in audiences, because they initially had Carell. I forgot his surname, his first name. Sorry,
Steve Carell,
as the character of Ricky Gervais's character, but then eventually they started running out of like things to do with him, and then I think Carell left. So then they got the other guy who was in the Hangout movies, to kind of take over, and I think even he's now leaving. He's left, and now there's that lanky dude. He's kind of the main character now, but nobody cares anymore. I don't care. I haven't cared about The Office, the American one for years.
They've actually got a phrase for it, haven't they? Jumping the shark. It comes from Happy Days, doesn't it?
Fonzie.
It's just an established thing that these series go on and on and on and on, and then they just run out of puff, and then they jump the shark, and they actually reckon that every episode, I don't know, but every episode of Happy Days was great up until the point where Fonz jumps the shark, and then that's just the end of the,
Yeah, that was the run. That was it. That's exactly how it is in America. They don't give up. They just want to milk it over and over again, and they don't realize there is
I've got to go in just a second because it's coming up to 1 o'clock. It's been great talking to you. But there's just, I don't know if you're comics, Thompson Comics. Like the Beano and the Dandy and all that sort of stuff. Well, they were all made up in Dundee, and the thing was that there used to be like a series of Spot, this dog called Spot, and his adventures. He had this owner called Joe or something like that, and they had all kinds of adventures. And apparently, the story writer or the cartoonist, the guy that actually made them, he fell out with Thompson, and they were terrible employers apparently, and he had this furious row with them. And what he did was that he ended up, he handed in his resignation with his last, with his script, and it ended up with this bloody dog stuck down a well, right? And nobody knew he was there, right? And the well was filling up because it had been raining and it was beginning to flood, right? And everybody thought it was on the other side of the mountain, right? And that was how this sort of thing absolutely ended. And nobody could work out any way. And then he left the company. And so he left this dog, the hero dog, in a completely impossible position. And it was obviously going to drown. The only way that they got out of it with the new writer was that it said, with one bound, Spot was free.
Dear God.
With one bound, Spot was free. And it's just that's how they got round it. It just the fucking dog just jumped up to the top of the well. Anyway,
that's what I mean. It's ridiculous, but yeah, no worries, Ned. Thank you for coming, and I'm gonna end it myself now, and just wrap it up. It's 1 o'clock. We all need to.
Okay, you take care, man.
You too, my man. Have a good one.
Okay.
Take care. Bye bye. Okay, boys and girls, we are at our end of our collective rope, at least for this show. It's been fun. Actually, we spoke a lot about movies, which was kind of a strange tangent. I didn't expect that one. I thought we were going to be roaming around the political sphere a bit more, but it seems, the movies is what happened to grab us. But it's all good. It's all good in the hood. Sorry, let me just. I'm just going to do something real quick. Yep, we are going to end this. There was one other little thing that I had lined up, which I wasn't sure whether we were going to get to it. Let me check. Yes, the Afghan situation. I just want to throw that in right at the end of the show. Obviously, there was the Afghan reveal. What the fudge is going on? Interesting. Let me Sorry, guys. Okay. So let's just play this from the Wasp. Afghan obviously exposed himself, but I'm talking to the choir.
Take the screenshot. You block. I knew he looked like that, bro. I knew he looked like that. Yeah, that's yeah, boy.
Oh, that's a good image to finish up on. So yeah, Afghan doxed himself effectively. He didn't dox himself. He exposed his face. Handsome lad indeed. To be honest with you, though, most of these, everyone who's on the internet just doesn't look as good as your imagination. I genuinely thought Afghan was far better looking. Oily comb over. He says, all right, he's got good teeth. His nose is far rounder than I expected. But anyway, I'm going to end it on that note. I am not one to take the piss out of someone's looks. I think I myself have plenty of issues too. So it was interesting though. The Afghan has shown himself now, and now, oh fuck it out. This video is brutal. I recommend go to the Wasp's channel if you want to watch this whole video. The Wasp. The video is kind of brutal with hair comb overs and partings. I don't think Afghan is actually this bold, but it's a brutal video. It is hilarious though. It is very good. Oh Christ! Look at these different comb overs. Oh shit! I forgot that one. Oh, that is brutal. Okay, on that bombshell, I'm going to bid you all farewell and good night. Thank you for coming, guys. It's been emotional. We've had our ups, we've had our downs. Erendor, big up to Erendor. Did you hear that YouTube deleted a Tucker Carlson video? Oh, damn, they're now coming for Tucker Carlson. I know they're coming for Tucker Carlson heavy, though. Hey, Hassan. Big up, Hassan. I know they're coming for Tucker Carlson because there's been some op-eds written about him. And I think that if YouTube goes for Tucker Carlson, that means they're going to have to go for Fox News. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be very interesting. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But for now, thank you guys. Thank you everyone for coming. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because sharing is caring, and that's about the only way that this channel is ever going to grow. Also, thank you for the new subscribers. I noticed I don't normally check these things anymore because I just don't care. But there's been a whole series of new subscribers. So thank you if you're a new subscriber here. Thank you for hanging out with us and chatting and listening to us chat shit, mostly. We try to be funny. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we fail. It's a mixed bag over here. But thanks for coming along. Thank you guys. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. Big up, Hassan. Have yourself a good night, mate. And I will catch you guys on the next time I do one of these things. I don't know. If you guys have ideas, by all means, put it in the text comments below the video for the next video, and I will try to, if it's good, I'll put it in. I'll put it in the show. So if you have any ideas, any YouTube videos or anything you've seen, pop them in. I mean, the one with the Cabbie, it was actually a YouTube, one of the subscribers who recommended it. So if you have an idea and if you want to do it, you may make it. You may make it into the show. So let me know. And in the meanwhile, again, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And have yourselves a wonderful evening and tickle your ass with a feather. Ciao.
Daylight come, day-o, day-o. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Me said that, me said that, me said that, me said day-o. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Work all night on a drink of rum. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Stack banana till the morning come. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me wanna go home. It's 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me wanna go home. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Day-o, me said day-o. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Day, me said day-o. Daylight come and me wanna go home. A beautiful bunch of ripe banana. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Hide the deadly black tarantula. Daylight come and me wanna go home. It's 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me wanna go home. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Day-o, me said day-o. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Day, me said day-o. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Day-o, day-o. Daylight come and me